Chapter 596. At this moment, countless immortal body fragments were floating inside Xiao Han's palm. These immortal body fragments were constantly being absorbed by the demon sovereign left arm demon sovereign's palm. The energy of the immortal body was extremely nourishing. The demonic monarch palm on his left arm absorbed just a little bit of it, and the demonic meridians would awaken. Moreover, the capacity of the demonic meridians would continue to expand. Inside the demon Thearcha's palm, the space crystal wall became more and more stable, forming a world of its own. It became a demonic realm filled with demonic aura. Many ancient demonic characters were born and floating. The demon race's civilization was flourishing. It exuded a bloodthirsty and dark aura. Furthermore, the left arm of the monarch demon beast seemed to be resonating and communicating with the soul of the demon god in his heart. In a daze, Xiao Han seemed to hear the evil voice of the demon god reverberating in his ears. This is really interesting. To think that an immortal's corpse could be used to nourish and evolve a demon god's palm in the mortal world. This is something that has never happened before. Even I have never heard of such a thing. Interesting. This is really interesting. That's right. Since the birth of this world, there had never been a case where someone in the mortal world obtained a fortuitous encounter of the demon race and then used the corpse of an immortal to nourish this fortuitous encounter of the demon race. This kind of thing was absolutely impossible to happen, but it just so happened that it happened to Xiao Han. This was a miracle created by the combination of many rare opportunities. Firstly, Xiao Han had obtained a fortuitous encounter in the demon race, a demon Thearcha's palm. Secondly, Xiao Han had even become a parasite of the demon god's egg. Thirdly, the demonic god used its supreme will to better inhabit Xiao Han's body. This caused Xiao Han's left arm to become a demonic monarch palm. If it wasn't for the demon god's will evolving Xiao Han's left demon monarch palm, Xiao Han would have died. It was impossible for him to refine the corpse of an immortal. Fourth, a large number of immortals had descended upon Xiao Han's plane. This was something that could only be chanced upon. The demon god's will quickly dissipated without a trace. However, Xiao Han could sense that the demon god was very interested in the evolution of his left demon monarch palm. Humph! Demon god, I will kill you sooner or later. Xiao Han snorted. He muttered in his heart. He filtered out the demon god's will and focused on refining Du Longzi's immortal body fragment. Just like that, Xiao Han sat quietly in the room like a stone statue. Xiao Han had already warned the people in the inn not to disturb him. He also gave a lot of money to appease the people in the inn. The people of the inn had already received some benefits, so they didn't bother him. That was all. Xiao Han meditated for 7 days and 7 nights to refine Du Longzi's immortal physique. In the meantime, Xiao Han took out the rings of holding from Master Divine Sword and Master Du Longzi, and bound them with blood. Inside he discovered that there were some immortal items and magical items. However, Xiao Han had only achieved immortal ascension with his fleshly body, and his true energy was far from being able to evolve into immortal chi. Therefore, even if Xiao Han could just barely use these magical items, he wouldn't be able to unleash much of their power. Therefore, defeating the Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi and taking their treasures was not of much use to Xiao Han. As Du Longzi's immortal physique was refined, Xiao Han's left monarch beast palm underwent some changes. The demonic veins no longer awakened in the left monarch beast palm. Instead, the densely packed demonic veins began to merge. Billions of demonic veins began to merge as if they were going to merge into one. Is this the sign of the monarch beast palm evolving again? Xiao Han was extremely confused. Puff, puff, puff. The densely packed demonic veins merged and twisted into a ball. An even more powerful demonic power was produced in Xiao Han's left monarch beast palm. This power didn't seem to be any weaker than immortal power. This power was almost enough to destroy heaven and earth. Jia Lanzi patiently explained the power system of immortals to Xiao Han, but Xiao Han had no idea what the left monarch beast palm was going to evolve into. Another 3 days passed. Du Longzi's immortal physique fragment had been completely refined. Not a single drop was left. However, the merging of the demonic veins was not complete. It had to absorb a large amount of energy before it could continue. Moreover, ordinary energy was probably not enough to satisfy the growth and evolution of Xiao Han's monarch beast palm. The merging of the demonic veins seems to be only halfway done. Xiao Han felt an itch in his heart. What a pity. If I had another immortal corpse, the monarch beast palm would probably be able to complete this evolution and merge all the demonic veins into one. Now, a huge puzzle was placed in front of Xiao Han, and he had to solve it bit by bit. However, this puzzle was only half solved. Xiao Han still couldn't completely know the answer. This kind of situation was the most tempting. Naturally, Xiao Han was eager to get an answer immediately. However, the energy had already been used up. The last layer of veil couldn't be lifted in the end. Now Xiao Han couldn't wait to attack again and kill an immortal, to obtain the energy to nourish the left monarch beast palm. However, Xiao Han was not a reckless person. After he released his spiritual force, he discovered that at this moment, there were at least dozens of immortal senses hovering in the sky of the northern region. Moreover, on the ground of the northern region, in many empires and cities, there were hundreds of hidden immortal senses. In other words, there were nearly 200 immortals who had entered the northern region. What made Xiao Han even more afraid was that the immortal senses of Heaven Emperor had also appeared in the northern region. Now, the entire northern region has been surrounded by nearly 200 immortals. Heaven Emperor and the others are indeed clever. They know that I have fled to the northern region. Xiao Han was well aware of the situation. The current situation is extremely dangerous. If I give myself away even a little, I might be caught by Heaven Emperor. There are nearly 200 immortals and Heaven Emperor himself. As long as I am discovered, it will be very difficult for me to escape. Fortunately, the northern region's territory is also extremely vast. As long as I maintain the status quo, Heaven's Son and the other immortals don't think about catching me. Forget it. I won't act rashly for the time being. When Heaven Emperor and the others are slightly careless, I will find a chance to leave the northern region. Now, I might as well think of a way to continue evolving the left monarch beast palm. Energy. I need energy that doesn't lose to the immortal's corpse to nourish the left monarch beast palm. Xiao Han scratched his ears and cheeks. However, I have nothing on me. I'm just a mortal. I can't take out any treasures that are comparable to the immortal's corpse. Wait. Immortal tools and magic treasures. The immortal tools and magic treasures that I plundered from Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi. Xiao Han's eyes suddenly lit up. In the next moment, Xiao Han released the spirit turtle True Qi and sealed the entire room. Then he carefully took out a treasure sword. In the next moment, Xiao Han released the spirit turtle True Qi and sealed the entire room. This treasured sword was created after the Divine Sword Sun was destroyed. It was obtained from Divine Sword Sun's storage ring. The treasure sword was as bright as autumn water. The body of the sword was engraved with many immortal runes and formations. Moreover, there were some red veins on the surface of the treasure sword, just like the blood vessels of a human body. This is an immortal sword. It should be the ultimate weapon used by Divine Sword Sun. It's extremely precious. However, it's useless to me. I might as well give it a try and see if my left monarch beast palm can devour this treasure sword. If I can really devour and refine this treasure sword, the nourishment that my left monarch beast palm will receive might not be inferior to an immortal's corpse. Xiao Han licked his lips. Then he thought of something. Buff, 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 buff. Countless ferocious, salty and wriggling tentacles came out from Xiao Han's left arm and wrapped around the treasure sword. Refine it for me. Suddenly, the tentacles secreted some liquid and poured it onto the immortal sword. Buff, 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 buff. In an instant, the immortal runes and formations engraved on the immortal sword seemed to be corroded by the evil demonic qi and began to crumble. In the next moment, something strange happened. Buzz, the countless tentacles swayed and then suddenly retracted. Xiao Han's left arm returned to normal. However, the immortal sword was forcefully pulled into Xiao Han's left monarch beast palm. Xiao Han was stunned for a moment. Then his mind sank into the monarch beast palm. He saw that the immortal sword had already been disintegrated. It turned into densely packed raw materials and immortal qi that were being absorbed and refined by the monarch beast palm. The demonic vein that could not be completely integrated just now was now being integrated again. It really works. Not only can my monarch beast palm devour and refine the immortal's corpse, but it can also devour and refine immortal weapons and magical treasures. This is awesome. Xiao Han was wild with joy. I've plundered quite a lot of treasures from Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi. Let's refine them all. Feed the monarch beast palm. In the sky above the northern region, Emperor Heaven had already moved from the eastern region to the northern region. Beside Emperor Heaven stood many ferocious-looking immortals. Big Brother Emperor Heaven by Yunzi has sent us the fake soul fluctuation frequency. Moreover, we can confirm that Xiao Han has crossed the western region and escaped to the northern region. However, we've been searching for more than 10 days in the northern region, but we couldn't find the fake soul fluctuation frequency at all. Could it be that he has escaped to another place? A female immortal in pink clothes said with a frown. Emperor Heaven's face was gloomy and his eyes were malicious. Xiao Han is still in the northern region? He used a demonic art and teleported to the northern region. The demonic chi that the demonic art emitted eventually landed in the northern region. After that, our people used their immortal senses to search for him, but they did not find any trace of Xiao Han's fake soul aura. Now, I finally know. Xiao Han's spiritual force is extremely powerful. He can change the frequency of his soul aura and his temperament at will. In this way it will be very difficult for us to catch him, changing the soul fluctuation frequency? Big Brother Emperor Heaven, what should we do? It doesn't matter. As long as he's still in the northern region, we'll definitely be able to find him. Emperor Heaven's eyes flashed with violent killing intent and gloominess. Seal the northern region completely. Use immortal force to seal the spatial crystal wall of the northern region so that Xiao Han can't use his demonic technique to teleport away. Then search step by step. This time, there are hundreds of immortals who have come to the northern region to help us search for Xiao Han's whereabouts. If we can prevent Xiao Han from teleporting, we can catch him like a turtle in a jar. To be continued. Chapter 597. At this moment, a large number of immortals had gathered in the northern region. Among them were the immortals who were extremely hostile to Xiao Han, led by Heaven Emperor Chang. There were also quite a number of other immortals. They were either invited by Heaven Emperor Chang to capture Xiao Han, or they were just here to watch the show. In short, the news of Xiao Han killing Du Longzi had caused a huge sensation in the circle of immortals who had descended to this realm. These immortals had never thought that a mortal could kill an immortal. This was unheard of in the history of the immortal world. Therefore, almost all the immortals who had descended to this realm wanted to find Xiao Han and take a closer look at this mortal who had killed an immortal. Under the personal command of Emperor Chang, hundreds of immortals released their immortal senses and solidified the space crystal wall of the northern region. No one, not even immortals, could teleport within the northern region. In the northern region, the most prosperous and powerful empire, the Aurora Empire. In the huge square outside the palace of the Aurora Empire's imperial city. At this moment, the square was densely packed with mortals. Each of them had a strange expression on their faces as they discussed animatedly. From today onwards, no one is allowed to enter or leave the northern region. No one, including the devil heroes of the Devil Hero domain, is allowed to set foot in the northern region. Moreover, no one in the northern region is allowed to leave. Tsk, the power of those mysterious people is too great. They actually sealed the entire northern region. It's almost like they can cover the sky with one hand. Let me tell you, it's said that some immortals have descended to our realm. What? Immortals? Is this news reliable? Nonsense. This news came from the mouths of some of the top figures on the Devil Hero ranking. Hiss. Could it be that those mysterious people are immortals? Forget it. Let's not make wild guesses. Since the Emperor of the Aurora Empire has gathered us and issued an order, then let's do as he says. Otherwise, I'm afraid there will be a disaster. The people gathered in the square were all people of great status in the northern domain. Every single one of them was the emperor of a country in the northern domain, the clan leader of a clan, or the chieftain of a tribe. They had all submitted to the strongest empire in the northern region, the Aurora Empire. This time they were summoned by the emperor of the Aurora Empire. He came here to receive an order. On one of the steps at the top of the square, Heaven Emperor led a few immortals and stood majestically beside him like a crane among chickens. A middle-aged man with a crown on his head stood submissively. This middle-aged man was also an upper-level true Chi realm martial artist with an extraordinary temperament. However, in front of immortals like Heaven Emperor, he seemed extremely insignificant. This middle-aged man wearing a crown was the Emperor of the Aurora Empire. Xing Wuhen. Mister, I've already announced your request to all the emperors and clan leaders of the empires in the northern domain. From today onwards, in the countries of the northern region, all the cities began to be sealed off. No one was allowed to enter or leave. Moreover, at the local level, I'll also sort out the census population and foreign population and report to you at any time, Xing Wuhen said respectfully. Mister, although it's a large-scale census, this is the first time that the entire northern domain's population is checked like this. It's extremely complicated, but I believe that as long as the kings and leaders of the various clans in the northern domain do their best, it should be able to be carried out smoothly. Emperor Xing Wuhen, I'm very satisfied with your performance. Heaven Emperor nodded. Tomorrow, I'll order people to help you break the shackles of fate so that your true chi cultivation can reach the level of a tower master. You'll become a half-immortal and live a long life in the secular world. Yes, yes. Thank you, mister. Thank you, mister. Xing Wu Hen screamed in excitement. The emperor of a country had completely lost his composure. Yes, in order to find Xiao Han, who was hiding in the northern domain, Heaven Emperor had mobilized the leaders of the entire northern domain. Every inch of land in the northern domain was inspected. From then on, no one was allowed to enter or leave the northern domain. As a result, everyone who was currently in the northern domain had to undergo strict screening. Of course, the human leaders of the various countries in the northern domain didn't know much about the arrival of the immortals and the exploration of the second layer of immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure a few years later. Naturally, they didn't know about the bet between Xiao Han and Heaven Emperor. Therefore, Heaven Emperor mobilized the natives of the northern domain to conduct a carpet search. They also didn't know who they were looking for. If they knew that Heaven Emperor was dealing with the leader of their plane, Xiao Han, at least half of the natives in the northern domain would not agree to help with the search. Instead, it might arouse public anger and fight against Heaven Emperor and the other immortals. Naturally, Heaven Emperor also promised a great reward to the natives of the northern domain. The reward of an immortal naturally had a fatal charm for these mortals. In addition to mobilizing the mortals to search for Xiao Han, Heaven Emperor also mobilized a large number of immortals to travel through the various countries in the northern domain to conduct a strict search. Whoosh, 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 Heaven Emperor left an immortal beside the Emperor of the Aurora Empire and then led the other immortals to soar into the sky. The sky was filled with clouds and rosy clouds. It was a spectacular sight. In the sky. Big Brother Heaven Emperor, it's also very tricky now. That Xiao Han has a powerful spiritual force comparable to us immortals. He can change the frequency of his soul fluctuation and disguise various soul temperaments. It's too difficult to find him like this. Although we've mobilized all the leaders of the northern domain to investigate together, the territory of the northern domain is vast and the population is in the trillions. I don't know how long it will take to find Xiao Han. One of the immortals frowned and said worriedly. Moreover, the most frustrating thing is that even if we find a clue, Xiao Han can change his soul temperament at any time, causing us to miss him at the critical moment. On the other hand, the other immortal flying next to Heaven Emperor was slightly more optimistic. He forced a smile and said, "In fact, the northern domain is a bitter cold land in this plane. The population is far less than the eastern domain. The western domain is also far less than the great wilderness. It's only about the same as the western domain. In fact, the population is even smaller than the western domain. It's not that difficult to investigate. More importantly, usually, there are relatively few people coming and going from the northern domain. In other words, the floating population of the northern domain is not much. I believe that after sealing off the northern domain, it's not impossible to find Xiao Han disguised as an outsider." "Stop talking," Heaven Emperor said coldly. "Do you think that this is all I have? Sealing off the northern domain and investigating is just to hold Xiao Han back so that he can't leave the northern domain. As for finding Xiao Han, I have another way. This time, Xiao Han will definitely not be able to escape from my palm." "Ah, Big Brother Heaven Emperor, you already have a good plan to capture Xiao Han?" Northern Domain. In the inn where Xiao Han stayed. Xiao Han had been in seclusion for more than half a month. In the room. The spirit turtle True Chi filled the entire room, shielding the energy fluctuations in the room. As for Xiao Han, wind and water rose from his left arm. Sometimes a demonic light would appear. Sometimes, immortal chi would shine. Xiao Han tossed the immortal artifacts one by one into the demon the arch left arm's palm and refined them as if they were free. After evolving, Xiao Han's demon the arch left arm palm could not only refine immortal corpses, but also various immortal artifacts. It could also refine them together. Xiao Han didn't care too much about it. He threw the immortal artifacts and Dharma treasures that he plundered from God Sword Sun and Du Longzi into the demon the arch left arm palm one after another, refining them into nourishment for the demon the arch left arm palm. Some of the immortal artifacts and Dharma treasures that Xiao Han refined were definitely great killing weapons that immortals used to save their lives. These were definitely great killing weapons that immortals used to protect their lives. They were extremely precious, but Xiao Han didn't care about them and refined them all. Not many days later, God Sword Sun and Du Longzi's storage rings. All of the items inside had been taken and refined by Xiao Han. Other than immortal artifacts and Dharma treasures, there were also some immortal artifacts, immortal pills, immortal medicines. They were all thrown into the demon the arch left arm palm. The demon, the arch left arm palm, simply didn't care about meat or vegetables. It refined everything it could get its hands on. Finally, boom! The trillions of demon veins inside the demon, the arch left arm palm, finally shattered. They turned into dense, star-like spots of demonic aura. Demon race energy spots. Demon stars shone brightly. These demonic aura energy spots were extremely powerful. They were formed after refining countless immortal bodies, immortal artifacts, and immortal artifacts. Boom, boom, boom. These demonic aura energy spots spun like a hurricane and formed funnel-like vortexes. Inside the demon, the arch left arm palm, a strong wind blew and sand and stones flew. Shockingly. Brr, brr, brr. All of a sudden, a terrifying demonic roar came from the frenzied whirlpool. A torrential energy that could destroy the heavens and the earth erupted from within. These demonic roars were suppressed in the small world within the palm of Xiao Han's left arm and did not leak out. Therefore, only Xiao Han himself could feel the terrifying destructive power contained within. If this kind of aura was released, it would definitely shatter the earth, the sky would darken, the mountains would split, the oceans would evaporate, and the beasts would flee in all directions. It would be a scene of doomsday. This aura is definitely 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times stronger than the aura of the demon race when the demon army from the alien plane arrived. Xiao Han was surprised and delighted. All the demonic veins have merged into one. Now there's no demonic veins in the demon, the arch palm anymore. Evolution. It's evolved to an unprecedented level. I can almost feel that my demon, the arch left arm palm, can directly kill an immortal. I can kill an immortal head-on. At that moment, puff, a huge beast claw covered in dark red scales reached out from the demonic aura vortex, bringing with it a terrifying primordial aura. This claw seems to be a dragon claw? Xiao Han was startled. The next moment, roar. Then, another dragon head came out from the demonic aura vortex. The dragon head was extremely intelligent. It was burning with demonic fire. With a slight shake, it seemed like the space within 1,000 zhang would explode. Finally, roar. A vile dragon completely showed itself from the demonic aura vortex. The vile dragon had horns on its head and emitted a noble bloodline. But it was extremely evil. A monstrous evil aura. The demonic aura was like an ocean. Indeed, the thing that broke free from the demonic aura vortex was a dragon. But it was definitely not an immortal dragon, a heavenly dragon, or a sea dragon. It was a demonic dragon. A demonic dragon created by high-level demonic aura. Chapter 598. Xiao Han did not expect that after absorbing a large amount of energy from the immortal body and immortal weapon, the demon monarch left arm palm had completed a stage of evolution and gave birth to a demonic dragon. The demonic dragon swam out of the demonic chi vortex. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, roaring and roaring non-stop. Watermark advertisement test: the dragon's body was wriggling non-stop, as if there was a huge demon embryo in the body of this demon dragon. Endless blood chi was emitted from the demon dragon's body, and a peerless demonic aura was gushing out from it. Dragon serpent patterns and dragon scales appeared on the body of the demonic dragon. It was an extremely evil primordial demonic dragon, primordial evil dragon, primordial blood dragon. Bright red blood seeped out of its dark red scales. It seemed to be the demonic blood of the demon realm. This primordial demonic dragon definitely possessed the bloodline of a superior being in the demon realm. Xiao Han had a feeling that this primordial demonic dragon was alive. Then, this primordial demonic dragon seems to be a part of my thoughts. It's like a creature of the demon realm created by combining my thoughts with the demonic power in the demon monarch left arm palm. It's like a clone, but not exactly a clone. All sorts of strange feelings surged in his mind. That's right. This primordial demonic dragon is part of my power. It belongs to me. Just as Xiao Han was about to be enlightened, roar. A second primordial demonic dragon was born from the demonic chi vortex and broke free. Roar. The third. Roar. The fourth. A storm of blood. Demonic chi blotted out the sky. Primordial demonic dragons with protruding horns were born one after another, roaring and wriggling. As more and more primordial demonic dragons were born, the world inside Xiao Han's demon monarch left arm palm became more and more stable. The space crystal wall became stronger and stronger, surpassing that of a mundane realm. It had almost evolved to the level of the demon realm that could rival the immortal realm in the upper realm. Moreover, Xiao Han gradually understood the power of these primordial demonic dragons. Now, my physical body. It's a dual attribute immortal body with 40 immortal dragons' offensive and defensive power. Because of that, I have a relatively good understanding of immortal dragon power. This is equivalent to the power of 10 trillion cauldrons in the mundane world. At this moment, the demonic veins in the left arm demon emperor's palm have merged and created ancient demonic dragons. The power contained in each ancient demonic dragon is exactly equivalent to the power of one immortal dragon. One immortal dragon power. It was equivalent to a demon dragon being born in the left arm demon monarch's palm. In the end, a total of 40 demonic dragons were created in the palm of the left arm demon the Arch. In other words, Xiaohan's left arm contained demonic energy. It was equivalent to 40 celestial dragon power. Ho, ho, ho. 40 demonic dragons roamed, circled, and roared in the palm of Xiaohan's left arm. Demonic light soared into the sky, multicolored light pervading the air. These 40 demonic dragons definitely had the power to destroy this mortal world and countless other mortal worlds. This wasn't the demonic energy of the mortal world. Any demonic sovereign or demonic the Arch in the mortal world couldn't possibly possess such pure and noble demonic energy. This was the authentic power of the demonic world. It was a supreme force that was comparable to the celestial force of an immortal. It was the power at the top of the food chain. The 40 demonic dragons were all derived from Xiaohan's will and power. When Xiaohan used them, he could control them as if they were his own arms and fingers. Moreover, the 40 celestial dragon power was completely different from the 40 celestial dragon power of Xiaohan's immortal body. Xiaohan's immortal body was pure physical strength. The Thunder God Tyrant body's attacks were sharp, but it only focused on explosive, tearing, and destructive power. There was no technique to speak of. To put it bluntly, it was just brute force. Although he only had celestial force, if he encountered an immortal who descended, he couldn't kill him unless he ambushed them when they were unprepared. If it was a head-on fight, Xiaohan wouldn't be able to defend himself once the immortal who descended used celestial arts and dharma treasures. Perhaps he could only protect himself. However, the 40 celestial dragon power in the left arm demon monarch's palm could be used to activate demonic arts. The large number of grooves on the left arm demon monarch's palm were inlaid with demon emperor crystals and a large number of demon monarch forbidden spell runes. As a result, Xiaohan had mastered at least a few thousand demonic arts, and even more than 100 forbidden demonic arts. These were all obtained by Xiaohan after he slaughtered the demonic army during the planar calamity. He had refined all of them into the monarch beast's left arm. Before this, Xiaohan's demon emperor left arm palm hadn't evolved yet. Therefore, when he activated his demonic power and used these demonic arts and secret arts, he would be invincible in the mortal world. He would be able to kill any tower master or demon emperor. However, no matter how strong the demonic arts and secret techniques were, they couldn't fight against immortals because their demonic energy was too weak. They weren't on the same level at all. But now, the demonic energy contained in the left arm demon monarch's palm had evolved to the level of high-level demons in the upper realm. One celestial dragon power was on par with one celestial dragon power. Therefore, with Xiaohan's current demonic energy, he could use any of the demonic arts and forbidden spell inlaid into the left arm demon monarch's palm to fight against immortals who descended. He could even kill immortals directly. My combat power now is no less than that of the great demons in the upper realm of demons. According to Brother Jialan, I should be able to fight against a level 4 true immortal. 40 demon dragon power plus thousands of demonic arts. Xiaohan was shaken to the core. At this point, once I use the demonic arts, the Son of Heaven will most likely not be my match. Even Brother Jialan, I can fight against him directly. If I use thousands of demonic arts and secret techniques with the demonic energy of a level 4 true immortal, I shouldn't be at a disadvantage against a level 2 true immortal who descended. Xiaohan said in a daze as he used his psyche to penetrate into his left arm demon monarch's palm. He re-examined every demonic art and secret technique he had mastered. Apocalyptic demon blade, illusory movement, yellow demon tower, a demon city, heavenly demon immortal slaughtering technique, heavenly demon burning soul technique, thousands of demonic arts. Attack type, defense type, concealment type, destruction type, camouflage type, self-explosion type, control type, almost everything was there. It was tantamount to Xiaohan reopening a treasure vault. Every demonic art and secret technique is no less than a celestial technique. This time I've struck it rich. Ah! Xiaohan was simply intoxicated. The Son of Heaven. This time. I'll have a good fight with you. Ah! At this point, Xiaohan already had the capital to contend with immortals. I'll try this demonic art. Reincarnation technique. Xiaohan's left arm flashed with demonic light, activating a demonic art on his left arm demon monarch's palm. Boom, a faintly discernible line. An extremely obscure demonic aura swept across the surface of Xiaohan's body. In the next moment, Xiaohan's appearance, temperament, and body changed again. His height had been shortened by a notch, and his temperament had become extremely weak. He was like a scholar without the strength to truss a chicken. At the same time, his face also twisted and changed. Finally, Xiaohan's face became square with thick eyebrows and big eyes. Just like that, Xiaohan's disguise was even more realistic than before. Moreover, the disguise this time was almost untraceable. Everyone, even those who were most familiar with Xiaohan, could not recognize him at all. The current Xiaohan seemed to have been reincarnated into another person. This was one of the thousands of demonic arts that Xiaohan had mastered. This was a type of disguised demonic art. It was originally a technique of a mortal demon emperor. Once disguised, it could fool the heavens and the earth, and even human tower masters and half-immortals would not be able to detect it. It was extremely strange. Back then, the demon emperor who was proficient in this demonic art often disguised himself and wantonly harmed humans in the human world. The most shocking time was when this demon emperor actually snuck into the Yaoxia pagoda and ate the brains of 90 Yaoxia without being detected at all. In the end, the Yaoxia pagoda completely collapsed, the tower master went insane, and all the elders went crazy. In the end, this demon emperor ate the leader of the Yaoxia of this plane alive, and completed the demon race's great feat of conquering the plane and enslaving the human race. Now, Xiaohan had used the reincarnation technique with the demonic power of 40 demon dragons. His concealment and disguise skills were not something that the demon emperor could compare with. Haha, now, my disguise will not be a problem for me to fool those level 1 and level 2 true immortals who have descended. Xiaohan laughed casually and walked out in a dignified manner. Although this disguise technique is performed with demonic arts, those true immortals who have descended cannot see the subtle demonic aura fluctuations on my body. Reincarnation, almost no one in this world can see through my true form. Unless they are high-level true immortals, but high-level true immortals cannot descend to the mortal plane. Jia jia jia, jia jia jia. At the same time, the demon god's eerie and evil laughter came from Xiaohan's heart. There was a hint of gratification in this laughter, as if it was extremely satisfied with Xiaohan's current achievements and performance. Xiaohan wandered freely on the streets of this city in the northern region. He even bought a folding fan and swayed it back and forth. He completely looked like a weak scholar. There was even a hint of pedantry. At the same time, Xiaohan was also observing. Currently, the entire city was in a state of chaos. There were checks everywhere, and soldiers armed to the teeth were patrolling everywhere, tracking down passers-by. There were even some cold-looking martial artists in the true energy realm wandering the streets and alleys like ghosts. Xiaohan also clearly saw some outsiders with faces full of resentment, cursing and swearing as they were escorted out of the city by fiendish soldiers. Oh, that bastard son of heaven is ordering the mortals to search the entire northern region for outsiders again. Xiaohan sneered. At this moment, dozens of soldiers and rogue cultivators of the Jianghu walked towards Xiaohan from all directions with malicious expressions, surrounding him. Mountain range palace Jialanzi, Wuyu, and the others were extremely worried about Xiaohan's safety. Brother Jialanzi, ever since Xiaohan killed immortal Du Longzi, he disappeared without a trace. There is no news of him at all. I wonder where he is now. Wuyu said worriedly. In the northern region. Jialanzi's pupils shrank slightly. Now, almost all the immortals who have descended to this plane have gathered in the northern region and sealed off the entire northern region. After a pause, Jialanzi looked at Wuyu. Brother Wu, let's go to the northern region as well. Although we won't interfere with the bet between Xiaohan and Son of Heaven, I can't help but want to go to the northern region. I don't know why, but I keep feeling that something very special will happen in the northern region in the future. Chapter 599. Xiaohan had just completed the evolution of the left arm of the demon monarch palm and condensed the strength of 40 demon dragons, causing all the demon emperor crystals and demon monarch mystic technique runes embedded in the left arm of the demon monarch palm to be transformed from useless to a great treasure that could compete with the descending immortals. This made Xiaohan feel very satisfied. Xiaohan walked out of the inn and walked on the streets of the city. Immediately, aggressive humans swarmed him from all directions and surrounded him. Xiaohan did not mind and calmly stood there. Then, his mental energy quietly spread out and enveloped the entire northern region. All of a sudden Xiao Han froze for a moment. Northern region. The number of immortals was already close to 300. This was an extremely shocking number. Xiao Han knew that there were only about 300 immortals that descended to his plane. Now, the immortals that gathered in the northern region were almost the total number of immortals that descended. Among these nearly 300 immortal senses, Xiao Han found some familiar immortal senses. Among them, there was the aura of Heaven Emperor and the group of immortals under him. Xiao Han even found Tao Tai Zi, He Zi, Su Huizi, Yu Yangzi, Marvelous Mathematician, and other immortals that had obtained a place to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure from him. Among the nearly 300 immortal senses, some were full of resentment and hatred, some were full of curiosity, and some were slightly worried. Yes, not all the immortals in the northern region wanted to capture and humiliate Xiao Han. There were also immortals that were extremely repulsed by Heaven Emperor. Moreover, Xiao Han also found that the spatial crystal barrier of the entire northern region had been solidified by layers of immortal senses. This made it impossible for Xiao Han to use illusory movement to teleport away from the northern region. Of course, with Xiao Han's current demonic strength, he could forcibly use illusory movement to break through the immortal senses. However, it would definitely alarm the immortals and cause Heaven Emperor and the other immortals to besiege and kill him. However, why would Xiao Han want to escape at this moment? Heck, I've used this strange demonic technique of the reincarnation technique. My current concealment technique is several times more powerful than the one I used to change the frequency of my soul fluctuations. Moreover, it has been proven that the true immortals who descend here, whether they are level 1 or level 2 true immortals, are almost unable to see through my disguise or detect my aura. Now that I've sensed the demonic chi, I'm absolutely safe. There's no need for me to run away. Xiao Han's mentality was also very relaxed. Indeed, he stood there. Dozens of celestial intents had already swept across the sky to investigate him, but none of them had found any flaws on Xiao Han's body. "Oh? You don't look familiar. Show me your household registration certificate," said a middle-aged soldier. He walked straight to Xiao Han and berated him without the slightest scruple. At this moment, Xiao Han was dressed like a frail scholar. He held a folding fan in his hand, and there was not the slightest energy fluctuation coming from his body. Furthermore, his physical body seemed to be extremely weak. In the face of the interrogation, he became playful and said while shaking his head, "I am a scholar. I came all the way from the eastern region to collect poems. Unexpectedly, you people of the northern region are really ridiculous. You interrogate and capture outsiders all over the street. How dare you? How dare you? Ha ha ha. This scholar doesn't have much flesh on his body, but he's really pedantic. Ha ha ha." The soldiers and Jianghu cultivators who surrounded Xiao Han all burst into laughter. Then the soldiers forcibly took Xiao Han away without any explanation. Xiao Han did not resist at all. He happily left with the soldiers. Not far from the city where Xiao Han was, there was a big city that was as warm as spring. In a restaurant in the city, a group of men and women with extremely noble temperaments were sitting in a private room on the 3rd floor of the restaurant. This group of men and women all had a faint immortal aura. Although they all looked young and were in the prime of their youth, they all had the air of immortals and were not to be underestimated. Oh whoa. A man with a fat head and big ears was squatting at the table, eating and drinking like a whirlwind. A valiant and formidable-looking woman slightly frowned. She was both angry and amused at the same time. "Tao Tai, you still have the mood to eat, drink and be merry at this time? Really?" The one who was eating and drinking was the immortal Tao Tai. Beside Tao Tai were Black and White Zi, Su Huizi, Shi Yangzi, Marvelous Mathematician, Yu Yangzi, a group of immortals. "Brother Tao Tai, don't eat any more." Yu Yangzi shook his head and laughed. Now, Brother Xiao has been confirmed to be in the northern region. The entire northern region has been completely sealed. The Son of Heaven and the others have gathered a large number of immortals and vowed to capture Brother Xiao. Brother Xiao is in trouble. How can we sit back and do nothing? Gugugu. Tao Tai gulped down another gourd of wine and said with a chuckle, "Everyone don't worry. Brother Xiao Han will not lose today's bet. In the demonic hero pagoda of this plane, all of you have seen Brother Xiao's miraculous means with your own eyes. He can even refine immortal tools, magic treasures and ancient divine medicines that we can't refine and create a rare dual attribute immortal physique. How can such a person be defeated by a despicable person like the Son of Heaven? Don't worry everyone. Even so, the Son of Heaven is not that easy to deal with. Moreover, the Son of Heaven has gathered a lot of immortals. It's inevitable that Brother Xiao can't do anything alone. We have all received Brother Xiao's kindness. We can't just sit back and do nothing. Let's think of a way to help Brother Xiao deal with the Son of Heaven together. Su Huizi said seriously. Don't act rashly. If we interfere, Brother Xiao will lose. The experienced and prudent black and white man said. We're all very familiar with the frequency of Brother Xiao's soul fluctuations. Even we can't find Brother Xiao now. Therefore, even though Emperor Heaven has the advantage in numbers, he might not be able to find Brother Xiao. Since Brother Jialan can't intervene, we can't be too smart. How about this? If everyone wants to help Brother Xiao, then from now on, we'll split up and contact the immortals who have come to the northern region. We'll ask them not to ally with Emperor Heaven and become his accomplice. I believe that many of the immortals who have come to the northern region are just here to watch the show and not to go against Brother Xiao. We'll contact this group of immortals and make them all stand on Brother Xiao's side. Alright. That valiant female immortal said. He stood up immediately. Let's split up. As long as we stand on Brother Xiao's side and don't go against Brother Xiao, then the matter of the quota will be settled. He was easy to talk to. Brother Xiao is not a person who makes things difficult for others by nature. On the contrary, if you follow Son of Heaven, you might lose the chance to enter the second level of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure. Let's go. Let's go find those neutral immortals and persuade them. Yu Yangzi, Taotai, Shi Yangzi and the other immortals all stood up. High heaven in the northern territory. Immortal clouds floated in the sky. Heaven's sun was sitting upright. At this moment, his expression was extremely serious. Moreover, his lips opened and closed repeatedly. Countless air currents surged and blew into the distance. It seemed that these air currents were blowing toward another plane. Furthermore, one could faintly see faint immortal character runes within the airflow. The immortals standing behind Son of Heaven all had tense expressions. Deep in their eye sockets, there was a hint of uneasiness and apprehension. They were among themselves. They were also using their immortal senses to whisper and communicate with each other through their souls. Everyone, the situation seems to be extremely bad. It's far beyond our control. Originally, we thought that we could seal off the northern territory and then invite a large number of immortals and countless mortals to conduct a carpet search. We can find Xiao Han. Even if we can't find him directly, we can still get some clues. But now it seems that we were wrong. We've searched for many days and found nothing. Could it be that we're going to lose to Xiao Han this time? Once we lose, the consequences will be unimaginable. So, back then, none of us thought that it would be like this. Xiao Han is too powerful. At this moment, Son of Heaven stood up with his hands behind his back. His eyes flashed with indifference and pride as well as confidence. Enough. Don't use soul transmissions to communicate. I understand your thoughts very well. None of you can afford to lose. Son of Heaven said indifferently. Then he smiled coldly. Indeed, none of us can afford to lose. None of us are willing to lose to a mortal. But according to the current situation, it's very likely that we'll lose. After a pause, Son of Heaven suddenly raised his voice. But we won't lose. Ah. Just now, I've already communicated with a few of my best friends. They will rush over from other planes to help me. What? The few immortals were horrified. A few of my best friends, such as Ghost Spirit, have also descended from the immortal world. However, they didn't descend to this realm. Instead, they descended to another mundane realm. Just now, I've already told them the spatial coordinates of this realm and asked them to come and help me immediately. The Son of Heaven's face was filled with a ferocious and confident smile. About a few days later, several of my good friends will arrive. With the arrival of strong reinforcements, I'd like to see if Xiao Han, that ant, can continue to hide. You should know how powerful my friend, the Phantom Child, is. Phantom Child cultivates a soul-type immortal technique. His combat strength won't lose to me, nor will he lose to Jia Lanzi. Moreover, Phantom Child is best at dissecting souls and tracing soul fluctuations. No matter how Xiao Han disguises himself, he definitely can't hide from Phantom Child. But, Big Brother Son of Heaven, isn't this against the rules? The few immortals said anxiously. The immortals who descended to this plane are already in a situation where there are too many monks but not enough gruel to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure. Now, Big Brother Son of Heaven is asking the immortals who descended to other planes to come over. What if Phantom Child and the others also want to obtain a spot from Xiao Han? Wouldn't that be crossing the line? Shut up, you trash. It's impossible to find Xiao Han with just you. Son of Heaven scolded coldly. After a pause, Son of Heaven's tone also slightly slowed down. Don't worry, Phantom Child and the others have most likely obtained a spot from other planes. They're here this time only to help me. Besides, even if they need a spot, it doesn't matter. I'll guarantee the spots for you guys. I can't let you go back empty-handed." Hearing this, the few immortals heaved a sigh of relief. One of the immortals said softly, "Yes, Big Brother Son of Heaven, Phantom Child's reputation is also very famous in the immortal world. He's a rare cultivator of mental strength. His tracking and identification skills are indeed unparalleled. As long as Phantom Child comes, Xiao Han will have nowhere to hide. Of course, after I capture Xiao Han, I'll definitely torture him until he's better off dead than alive." Son of Heaven gritted his teeth and said. Chapter 600. Xiao Han was brought to a huge square in the city by the group of soldiers. At this moment, there were nearly 10,000 people gathered in the square. There were ordinary mortals, martial artists, and even some true Qi realm martial artists. There were men and women, old and young, and all of them were foreigners. Not only were these foreigners not allowed to leave the northern region, but they were also forcibly brought here to be interrogated. This caused the outsiders to all have indignant expressions on their faces. But most of them didn't dare to say anything. That was because there was a young man with an extremely sharp and cold aura overseeing the plaza. This young man swept his gaze across the plaza as if he wanted to devour everyone. His aura was completely suppressing the outsiders in the plaza. None of the foreigners had any doubt that this young man could kill them with a slight movement of his finger. Oh, so it's an immortal. Xiao Han stood among the foreigners without batting an eyelid, but his heart was full of mockery. "I'm standing right in front of you, I'd like to see what you can find." "Ah, idiot." At this moment, the city lord of this city timidly walked to the side of the immortal and said in a low voice, "Sir, you're not allowed to enter or leave our city." "Mister, no one is allowed to enter or leave this city. Currently, the check on the foreigners has been completed. The last wave of foreigners has already entered the plaza. Mister, please take a look." The immortal nodded slightly. There were traces of fatigue on his face as he murmured, "I've searched another city. After this last batch of people is done, I'll head to the other cities and search again." After saying that, the immortal's immortal sense spread out like a tide and directly enveloped the tens of thousands of foreigners standing in the square. The search began. The immortal's immortal sense carefully identified the frequency of the tens of thousands of foreigners' soul fluctuations. At such a close distance, the immortal used his immortal sense to carefully identify the frequency of these foreigners' soul fluctuations. It was also extremely accurate. As soon as he found something wrong, he could immediately respond. His immortal senses were like the tide, rolling past every single outsider and inspecting them inch by inch. Xiao Han smiled faintly and stood still. The immortal's immortal sense carefully searched Xiao Han's body and soul aura. However, Xiao Han's reincarnation spell was unleashed with the demonic power of 40 demonic dragons. How could a level 2 true immortal see through it? Naturally, the immortal's inspection of Xiao Han lasted for hundreds of breaths before it finally ended. The immortal didn't discover anything. The immortal was extremely strict. It took him the time it took to make a cup of tea before he finished inspecting the soul fluctuations of the tens of thousands of people in the square. He bitterly shook his head with a slightly disappointed look on his face as he indifferently said to the city lord, "All right, get these outsiders to disperse. I will leave this city right now." "Yes, yes." The city lord nodded and bowed. "If you continue searching like this, not to mention half a year, even if you have 10 or 20 years, you definitely won't be able to find me." Xiao Han laughed coldly in his heart. Xiao Han's reincarnation secret art allowed him to transform into an endless number of different kinds of soul fluctuations. He could disguise himself as a peddler, a noble, a true Qi expert. This made Xiao Han invincible. Whoosh, in next to no time, the immortal transformed into a ray of light that flashed and vanished into the distance. Damn it! The outsiders in the square all heaved a sigh of relief. They cursed and left like the tide. Forget it, this city has already been searched by those rude fellows. Although we will still not be able to leave in the future, it will be better than being captured and inspected. Some of the outsiders repeatedly comforted themselves. Yes, no immortals would come to this city to search again. The immortals would focus their energy on other cities that hadn't been searched yet. I'll stay in this city leisurely for a period of time, waiting for these immortals to become anxious and impatient after failing so many times, and their defenses slacken. Then I'll slowly settle the score with them. What if I kill some more immortals and obtain their immortal bodies and immortal artifacts to feed my left demon monarch palm? Xiao Han's heart was slightly burning. He licked his lips as he walked. "Son of Heaven, you spent so much effort to deal with me, Xiao Han. It's impolite not to reciprocate. Du Longzi is only the first immortal to fall, but he definitely won't be the last. Now that his combat strength had skyrocketed, Xiaohan already had the idea of going all out and going all out. In the beginning, Xiaohan still had an instinctive fear towards the descending immortals. Then, after successfully forging a dual attribute immortal body, Xiaohan dared to deal with immortals and even ambush them. At this time, his demon power and demonic techniques were flourishing, which made Xiaohan even more confident. Even in the face of immortals, he had a near-invincible mentality. Son of Heaven and the other immortals had gone too far. Xiaohan wanted to completely bury this group of immortals in the mortal world. After retreating from the square, Xiaohan happily went to drink good wine and taste the local delicacies of the northern region. Then he wandered around the city. He went to the flower and bird markets and was in an extremely good mood. After that, Xiaohan found the most beautifully decorated inn in the city and settled down comfortably. In the next few days, Xiaohan's life was very regular. He got up in the morning and drank his morning tea. Then he would go to the flower and bird markets or walk his dog. After lunch, he would go to the market to find people to play chess with. At night, if he was in a good mood, he would go and listen to beautiful girls sing. Xiaohan was not in a hurry at all. He was waiting for an opportunity. He was waiting for the patience of Son of Heaven and the other immortals to be worn down bit by bit and the chance to be in chaos. There are only 3 months left before the half-year bet. Son of Heaven, let's see if you are in a hurry. Xiaohan was extremely confident in his heart. In the sky leading to the northern region. Xiu, above an immortal cloud, Jia Lanzi stood against the wind. His brows were slightly knitted as if he was thinking about something but could not find an answer. Wu Yu, Xiao Mingqiu, Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling stood behind Jia Lanzi. Brother Jia Lanzi, we are about to reach the northern region. Wu Yu said with slight excitement. Indeed, the entire northern region seems to be extremely rich in immortal qi. Obviously there are many crouching tigers and hidden dragons. After a pause, Wu Yu sighed. I wonder how Xiaohan is now. He is dealing with so many immortals with his own strength. This is really, Sect Master Wu, don't worry. Brother Xiao is currently safe and sound. On the other hand, Son of Heaven and the others are already as anxious as ants on a hot pan. Jia Lanzi said with a forced smile. Brother Xiao has hidden himself very well. Xiao Mingqiu suddenly said. We have been brothers with junior brother Xiaohan for so many years. We are very familiar with him. I have a subtle feeling that junior brother Xiaohan is indeed in the northern region, but we can't know his exact location. There are still 3 months until the bet. Fang Ling's eyes focused. As long as Xiaohan can survive these 3 months, Son of Heaven and the other immortals will lose and have to obediently scram back to the immortal world. Brother Xiao has a great chance of winning. However, I have a feeling that an extremely sensational event will happen in the northern region. Jia Lanzi's eyes were shrouded in a layer of fog and his brows could not relax. Brother Jia Lanzi, what is the event that you are referring to? Wu Yu and the others asked in unison. However, Jia Lanzi shook his head slightly. It's a kind of premonition, Sect Master Wu and everyone else. Back in the immortal world, I followed some elders and cultivated for a period of time. Those elders are all very powerful, and they are experts in divination so they can roughly predict the future. I am not talented but I have only learned a little. Suddenly, Jia Lanzi's eyes focused and looked at the vast territory of the northern region. I seem to have seen a bloody world. Massacres, storms and corpses are everywhere. This is an ominous sign. Never mind, the northern region is relatively peaceful now. Brother Xiao won't show himself easily. Perhaps nothing major will happen. Maybe my senses were wrong. After a pause, Jia Lanzi sorted out his emotions. Then, with a wave of his right hand, several celestial talismans burned and turned into ashes that entered his body, as well as the bodies of Wu Li and the others. Then their auras became extremely faint and undetectable. Let's also conceal our auras and quietly enter the northern region. Don't let Son of Heaven and the others discover us, lest there be any complications, Jia Lanzi said with a faint smile. Let's go into the northern region. Western region. A vast desert. Thousands of miles of yellow sand. Hot steam rose. This was an uninhabited desert area, and it was completely empty. At this moment, boom, in the sky, a giant vortex suddenly appeared. Terrifying energy fluctuations formed beams of light that shot out from the vortex and directly bombarded the desert. Bang! Bang! Billions of tons of yellow sand exploded, evaporated, obliterated. In the blink of an eye, the huge desert evolved into a giant crater. Not even a blade of grass grew. Not a single grain of sand touched it. Then, I finally arrived at this plain. A large group of men and women, nearly 100 in number, descended from the giant vortex in the sky. These men and women, each and every one of them empty-handed, looked down on everything as if they were kings of the world. Their pores floated with the charm of immortals. They were all immortals. The leader was dressed in a black robe. His face was ordinary, but his eyes were extremely special. They were bottomless like an abyss, a nightmare. These eyes seemed to be able to absorb all light and seemed to be able to devour all matter. Anyone who was targeted by these eyes seemed to have nowhere to hide. Even if they fled to the ends of the earth, they would be found by these eyes. These were a pair of demonic eyes. Spectral child, Emperor Tsangtian actually told us the spatial coordinates of the mortal realm that he descended to. Most of us didn't manage to obtain a spot to enter the second floor of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure, so we were worried and frustrated. I didn't expect Emperor Tsangtian to lead us here, giving us another chance. This time, no matter what price we have to pay, we must get the quota in this plane. A short and fat immortal said while licking his lips. Heck, His Majesty and I are sworn friends. He seems to have encountered a troublesome matter in this realm, so he asked me to come over and help him. His Majesty promised that once the matter is resolved, we will be able to divide the spots in this realm together. The black-robed immortal said coldly. All right, let's go meet up with Heaven's Son and help him solve the problem. Chapter 601. Another group of immortals had arrived at Xiaohan's plain. The immortal world attached great importance to the exploration of the second level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure trove. Some immortal emperors with authority had selected a large number of young immortals from a large number of sects in the immortal world to meet the requirements of descending to the mundane plane. Immortals who were limited to level 2 true immortals were allowed to descend to various mundane planes. They were looking for mortal geniuses who had obtained immortal keys from the genius zone. Although there was no written rule, the immortals who had descended to a certain plane were not allowed to go to other planes. They could not cross the boundary. To put it bluntly, they could not go to other immortals' planes to snatch a spot. In other words, they could not snatch food from other people's bowls. At this moment, Spectral Child had received the invitation of Sun Heaven and directly arrived at Xiaohan's plane. It was tantamount to crossing the boundary. Let's go. Let's find Sun Heaven. Under Spectral Child's command, a large group of immortals flew towards the northern region. Master Spectral Spirit was also a natural leader and had a huge aura. Therefore, the immortals who followed behind him were all respectful and submissive, as if they were giving orders to him. The number of immortals following Spectral Child was also close to 100. Big Brother Spectral Child, this plane seems to be much more prosperous than the planes we descended to. Some immortals said to Spectral Child with a smile. It is said that in this plane, there is only one mortal who holds the spot to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure trove. Some of the planes we descended to also have more than one mortal who holds the spot. But in this plane there is only one, and that is Xiaohan. Yes, Xiaohan, said another immortal. Another immortal nodded slightly. This person is not simple. It is said to be the first level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure trove. In the Genius Zone, the mortal who obtained the title of Chief Genius obtained the only purple immortal key. He is an extremely powerful mortal. Ha. Hearing this, many immortals let out mocking and disdainful laughter. Powerful? No matter how powerful he is still a mortal, a slightly stronger ant. Yes, even if he is the chief genius among the mortals. If we want to kill him, all we need is a thought. Now that we're in this plane, the first thing we need to do is to capture Xiaohan and intimidate him. Once we have him under our control, we'll make him docile and obedient to us. If we want him to kneel, he'll kneel. If they wanted him to die, he would die. He was just a mere mortal. It's impossible that I can't handle it. Enough. All of you shut up. Suddenly, the spirit child spoke indifferently. Although his tone was extremely light, the sound waves contained a bewitching and soul-shaking power. All of a sudden, the gossiping immortals shut their mouths. Keep quiet out of fear. All of them stared at the Son of Spirit with their mouths agape. Xiaohan is indeed not a person to be underestimated. Don't think that all mortals are the same as the mundane realms that you've descended to, that they're all so weak that they wag their tails and beg for pity. I can tell you that the reason Sun Heaven sent me a message to help is because he suffered a loss at Xiaohan's hands, Master Spectral Spirit said indifferently. The troublesome matter that I told you about is referring to this Xiao Han. Hiss. A large group of immortals gasped in shock. Sun Heaven. He actually suffered a loss in the hands of Xiao Han, a mortal like Xiao Han. This is unbelievable. Sun Heaven is an outstanding immortal among the younger generation of our immortal world. That mortal Xiao Han is an expert in soul spirit power and knows how to disguise. Suddenly, Master Spectral Spirit smiled mockingly. His eyes were filled with eagerness as he suddenly became excited. I'm also an expert in soul spirit power. Interesting, very interesting. I didn't expect that after descending to the mundane world, I would actually find such a spice in the incomparably dull atmosphere. After a pause, Master Spectral Spirit raised his eyes to the sky and murmured, I've already obtained the quota to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure from a mortal genius in the plane that I descended to. However, that Xiao Han obtained a purple immortal key, which is known as the most precious immortal key. With my identity, I naturally used the purple immortal key to teleport to the second level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure. That's the only logical thing. Therefore, it's certain that I'll obtain a quota from Xiao Han. As for you, some of you didn't obtain a quota. Now obtain it from Xiao Han. Master Spectral Spirit said with absolute certainty. Thank you, Big Brother Spectral Spirit, for giving us this opportunity. Dozens of immortals expressed their gratitude at the same time. Moreover, each of their faces revealed an expression of being rescued from a hopeless situation. After a brief pause, one of the immortals said with a slightly worried tone. However, Big Brother Yulingzi, I heard that the sanctimonious Jiao Lanzi has also descended to this plane. Jiao Lanzi has always been the sworn enemy of the Heaven Emperor. If we help the Heaven Emperor to deal with Xiao Han and seize the quota, I'm afraid that Jiao Lanzi will interfere. It's fine. I'll join hands with Sun Heaven and we'll definitely defeat Jiao Lanzi. Master Spectral Spirit smiled coldly. Northern Region. In a restaurant in a bustling downtown area. In a private room on the second floor. Tao Dai Heihezi and Yu Yangzi, the three immortals who descended, were entertaining 6 immortals. These 6 immortals all had extremely kind temperaments and a sense of righteousness. At this moment, Tao Tai said with a huff. Everyone, I hope that you won't continue to help that despicable person, Sun Heaven. I think you all know Sun Heaven's character very well. This person is arbitrary and self-opinionated. Don't make a mistake. On the contrary, Brother Xiao Han has a firm grasp on the quota. One word from him can let you enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure in a few years. Moreover, Brother Xiao Han has a boundless future. In the future, he will definitely be able to ascend to the immortal world. He's very easy to get along with now. If you make friends with him, you will definitely benefit a lot. Brother Tao Dai, don't worry. The few of us originally only came to the northern region to watch the show. We have never intervened in the battle between Sun Heaven and Xiao Han. We are naturally willing to get along with Xiao Han peacefully. In exchange for a quota. We are also willing to be friends with a mortal like Xiao Han. After all, even Jiao Lanzi is friends with Xiao Han. We have always admired Jiao Lanzi's judgment of people. The 6 immortals all said with a serious face. That's good. Well then, everyone, I'll take my leave now and wait for Xiao Han to appear. When Xiao Han appears, I, Tao Tai, will introduce Xiao Han to you. You can discuss the quota. Tao Tai said in a clear voice. The 6 immortals exchanged pleasantries and then left one after another. It seems that most of the descended immortals are actually unwilling to conspire with Sun Heaven. Black and White smiled with satisfaction. Then, his expression was slightly stifled, and he immediately smiled. Su Huizi and Shi Yangzi have also successfully contacted 4 descended immortals. These 4 immortals are also willing to drink and chat with Brother Xiao. There will be no war. These immortal friends of Xiao Han were contacting the descended immortals, asking them to stand on Xiao Han's side and not cooperate with Sun Heaven to deal with Xiao Han. An empire in the northern region. In a restaurant in the imperial city. Jiao Lanzi, Wu Hao, Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, and Fang Ling had already concealed their auras and arrived in the northern region. There are immortal senses everywhere in the northern region. There are a lot of immortals. It's really chaotic. I hope these immortals are not Xiao Han's enemies. Wu Hao said with a tense face. Sect Master Wu, don't worry too much about Brother Xiao. Until now, Sun Heaven and the others have been searching for Brother Zhao's whereabouts in vain. Brother Zhao's hiding is too perfect. Jiao Lanzi smiled. Suddenly, Jiao Lanzi's expression changed dramatically. Jiao Lanzi's eyebrows were tightly knitted. His facial expression began to distort. A look of anger appeared on Jiao Lanzi's face. What's going on? Brother Jialanzi, what are you doing? Wu Hao and the others were all shocked. How dare you? This is really outrageous. Jialanzi almost roared in anger. Sun Heaven can't do anything to Brother Xiao. He actually invited reinforcements. Jialanzi said angrily. Brother Jialanzi, Sun Heaven has been winning over immortals everywhere and has received a lot of help. This is not something that happened in a day or two. It has been like this for a long time. Why is Brother Jialanzi so angry now? Fong Ling said puzzledly. Sun Heaven broke the rules. He actually told the group of immortals who descended to other planes the spatial coordinates of this plane. Jialanzi's pupils shrank. Nearly 100 immortals who should have descended to other planes, uninvited guests, have now entered the northern region and met up with the Emperor of Heaven. What? Immortals who descended to other planes suddenly came to our plane? Wu Hao and the others were shocked. Ghost Child? Sun Heaven actually invited Ghost Child. Jialanzi's face was as dark as water. Ghost Child? Wu Hao and the others all looked at Jialanzi. This person is good at soul and mental strength cultivation. He is said to have a pair of eyes that can see through reincarnation and is best at tracking and investigation. Jialanzi frowned. This time Brother Xiao is in trouble. Northern region. Ah. Ghost Child, long time no see. You're still the same, ha. Sun Heaven led dozens of immortals and finally met up with the immortals led by Ghost Child. The two of them were full of joy and greeted each other enthusiastically. This time I still have to thank Ghost Child for helping me. Sun Heaven smiled. Sun Heaven, you and I are friends of life and death. There's no need to be polite. Ghost Child also smiled. Speaking of which, it's also embarrassing to actually fall into the hands of a mortal. It's really frustrating. However, it's not that the mortal's combat strength is fierce, but he's too slippery. He's good at changing the frequency of soul fluctuations and changing his temperament. And I'm not good at the Tao of Soul, so I need Ghost Child's help. Ghost Child, don't worry. As long as we capture Xiao Han, the quota will be decided by the two of us. Sun Heaven said seriously. Well said. Ghost Child smiled confidently. Then let's begin. Sun Heaven, don't worry. No matter how deep that Xiao Han hides, no matter who he disguises as, give me 2 hours, I'll capture him. To be continued? Ew. Chapter 602. That Ghost Child had finally arrived from another plane and met up with Son of Heaven. Watermark advertisement test. After the watermark advertisement test, Ghost Child immediately sat down cross-legged and condensed his mental force. In his brain, there was a faint strange sound of surging tides. Rays of dazzling red halos radiated out. Upon closer inspection, these red halos were densely packed with immortal character runes. Moreover, there were countless thumb-sized shadows of Ghost Child sitting cross-legged. Extremely mystical. Son of Heaven looked at Ghost Child with great satisfaction. He subconsciously nodded and murmured, Xiao Han, I want to see how you will escape this time. It's alright, Son of Heaven, don't be anxious. Within 2 hours, Xiao Han will be captured. Ghost Child smiled coldly. His eyes were filled with conceit. Hearing this, the immortals under Son of Heaven's command were all very disdainful. One should know that although this Ghost Child was invited, he should not have been able to come to this mundane plane. The plane that he planned to descend on was not this plane. Moreover, not only did Ghost Child come by himself, he also brought nearly 100 aggressive immortals with him. In this case, it was very likely that they would be able to divide the limited quota to enter the second floor of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure. This caused the immortals under Son of Heaven to instinctively reject Ghost Child and the others. When they heard Ghost Child swear that he would capture Xiao Han within 2 hours, they did not think much of it. You want to capture Xiao Han within 2 hours? You're too arrogant. Under the lead of Big Brother Son of Heaven, we sealed the North region and searched for more than a month. We couldn't even find a single trace of Xiao Han's hiding spot. The moment Ghost Child came. You want to capture Xiao Han? Dream on. If he really finds Xiao Han within 2 hours, it will highlight our incompetence and cause us to lose all our face. Very soon, the dazzling red halos emitted from Ghost Child's brain overlapped and shrouded the entire North region. The soul fluctuations and aura of all the living beings in this North region are all within my grasp. Ghost Child smiled slightly. I specialize in soul-type immortal arts. This time, I encountered a mortal whose soul is comparable to an ordinary immortal. Interesting, very interesting. But, it's impossible for me, Ghost Child, to lose to a mortal in terms of soul. Pausing for a moment, Master Spectral frowned slightly. Oh? I seem to have sensed Jialanzi's soul aura. He appeared in the northern region. Jialanzi is here too? Oh, Jialanzi had also quietly arrived in the northern region? I didn't notice that. Heaven Emperor was slightly stunned, but he quickly smiled and said, "It doesn't matter, spirit child. If the two of us join forces, we have absolute confidence in suppressing Jialanzi. Even if Jialanzi wanted to intervene and save Xiao Han, there's nothing I can do." After pausing for a moment, a trace of ruthlessness flashed across the eyes of the Son of Heaven. At this time, if Jialanzi, that sanctimonious fellow, dares to jump out again, he will be seeking his own death. That's right, Son of Heaven. If you and I join forces, Jialanzi will definitely lose. Then I will start searching for Xiao Han's soul aura. Son of Heaven, previously, you have obtained the soul aura frequency of Xiao Han's first disguise. Now that he has changed his soul aura again, you will not be able to find Xiao Han based on the first soul aura frequency. I have a few ways to quickly find Xiao Han. The first is to reverse the soul aura frequency. The second is to provide Xiao Han's original soul aura frequency and the soul aura frequency after his first disguise. Then we can deduce the embryonic form of his soul. Embryonic form of his soul? Heaven Emperor and the other immortals were puzzled. Ha ha ha, Master Spectral laughed loudly. When talking about souls, you naturally don't understand. To put it simply, every living being, be it a mortal or an immortal, has a specific soul aura and soul origin. No matter how much they disguise or hide, the soul origin will not change. For example, if Xiao Han disguises himself as a rough and fierce man, will he really become a rough and fierce man? Actually no. The essence of his soul will still not change. Oh, I kind of understand now. Heaven Emperor nodded seriously. Spirit child, you're trying to deduce the essence of Xiao Han's soul. Then you'll be able to find Xiao Han, who's pretending to be Xiao Han. Yes. Then give me the original soul aura frequency imprint and the soul aura frequency imprint after his first disguise. I can quickly deduce the essence of Xiao Han's soul and find him among the billions of living beings in the northern region. The essence of every person's soul is unique, just like a fingerprint on the palm. Once I deduce the essence of Xiao Han's soul, no matter how he changes, even if he disguises himself as a woman, a child, or a baby, I will be able to find him in an instant. Good. You are indeed worthy of being the #1 genius in soul cultivation among the younger generation in the immortal world. Heaven Emperor praised. At the same time, Heaven Emperor flicked his fingers twice and two seemingly real yet illusory ripples floated out from his fingertips. These are the soul aura frequency imprints of Xiao Han that I've captured and memorized. Among them are Xiao Han's real soul aura frequency imprints and the soul aura frequency imprints that were collected by my men in the western region after his first disguise. Master Spectral, take a good look at them. Heaven Emperor smiled. Very good. Master Spectral's eyes narrowed. Suddenly, a terrifying vortex seemed to have appeared in his pitch-black pupils that wanted to devour everything. Many of the immortals present felt dizzy and retreated. The two seemingly real yet illusory soul aura frequency imprints were directly absorbed by Master Spectral's pupils. Then Master Spectral closed his eyes and remained motionless. His expression was as if he was meditating. Heaven Emperor and the other immortals quietened down. Northern region. In the private room of the restaurant where Jialanzi and the others were staying. Jialanzi's temperament was also extremely strong. After a short moment of rage and losing his composure, he calmed down. After a short moment of anger, he regained his composure. Jialanzi looked at the sky outside the window. Looking at the floating clouds in the sky, he said indifferently, Master Spectral is really powerful. His soul is so strong that I've been discovered by him. Brother Jialanzi, what should we do now? Wu Li asked anxiously. That Heaven Emperor is really shameless. He is incompetent and can't find Xiao Han. He actually invited reinforcements from the immortals who descended to other planes. Xiao Mingqiu also said with a face of dissatisfaction. Brother Jialanzi. In this way Heaven Emperor has clearly broken the rules of the bet. Jialanzi pondered for a moment and then said word by word. Yes, Heaven Emperor has broken the rules of the bet. Moreover, from the current situation, he invited Master Spectral to come over and no longer abide by the rules of the bet. He wants to eat Xiao Han. Moreover, they probably also think that as long as I intervene, they will definitely eat me up. This? Wu Li and the others all stood up anxiously. Shameless. Too shameless. As an immortal, how can he be shameless to this extent? Dong Fangqin was anxious. Everyone don't worry, Jialanzi said solemnly. Let's wait and see for the time being. Let's see if Master Spectral can find Brother Xiao. Once Brother Xiao's whereabouts are exposed, I will make a move. After a pause, Zhao Lanzi said coldly in an inaudible voice. Master Spectral, Heaven Emperor, do you really think that if you join forces you can firmly suppress me, Zhao Lanzi? At this moment, Xiao Han was taking a stroll under the lazy afternoon sun, walking in the streets of an ordinary small town in the northern region. He had lived here for more than half a month and was already familiar with many of the shop owners in the streets. Xiao Han chatted and laughed with these acquaintances while reminiscing the little fun that the food at noon brought him. And Xiao Han's current appearance and temperament was that of a harmless scholar. Moreover, he was generous. Therefore, the natives in the small town were also happy to make friends with him. As he walked, Xiao Han's expression changed slightly. His spirit fluctuated a little. Brother Zhao Lanzi, sect master, and a few senior brothers have also arrived in the northern region? Xiao Han touched his nose. Although they have weakened their soul aura a lot, I still discovered them immediately. It seems that Brother Zhao Lanzi and sect master are also worried about me. Xiao Han, who was besieged on all sides, could not help but feel a surge of warmth in his heart. However, at this moment, boom, 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 Xiao Han sensed dense waves of immortal senses flying over from the west region and entering the north region. Nearly 100 immortal senses? Xiao Han frowned. Nearly 100 immortals have swarmed into the northern region. Wait. These immortal senses are not possessed by the immortals who first arrived in my realm. In other words, there are new immortals, nearly 100 in number, who have suddenly arrived in my realm. This caused the number of immortals in my realm to exceed 400. Soon after, Xiao Han realized that all 100 immortals had arrived at the area where Emperor Heaven was and were meeting up with him. This made Xiao Han immediately understand. It seems that Emperor Heaven has found reinforcements to deal with me. Moreover, this batch of reinforcements is coming to my realm for the first time. Did they come from another realm? Or did they directly descend from the immortal realm? Just as Xiao Han was muttering to himself, his spirit fluctuated violently. Xiao Han discovered that among the nearly 100 immortals who had arrived in this realm for the first time, there was an immortal sense that was as deep as the sea. It was like a black hole whirlpool that seemed to be able to devour space and light from all directions. Within this immortal sense, there was a dazzling golden light. There was a golden ball that floated and sank. The surface of this golden ball was engraved with complex and brilliant spirit runes. Moreover, it emitted a tremendous and earth-shattering pressure. It was as if this golden ball could shatter a realm and blow up a planet with just a slight movement. It's a solid-state spirit planet. Xiao Han was astonished. An immortal with an extremely powerful soul and mind power has appeared. His soul and mind power has also reached the solidified realm just like mine. In fact, although Brother Jialan, Emperor Heaven, and the other immortals are considered leaders among the younger generation of the immortal realm, their soul and mind power are only at the liquefied state and have yet to solidify. Therefore their soul and mind power are inferior to mine. But now, an immortal with solidified soul and mind power has descended. In terms of soul and mind power alone, this person is on par with me. He's an extremely powerful person. Chapter 603. Northern Region. On a large immortal cloud stood hundreds of immortals with majestic auras. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Master Spectral was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. Just now, Master Spectral had already devoured the 2 soul frequency imprints of Xiao Han into his eyes. He was analyzing Xiao Han's soul frequency. He wanted to find the essence of Xiao Han's soul. As long as he grasped the essence of Xiao Han's soul, then Spectral Child believed that no matter how Xiao Han disguised himself, he would become his prisoner and be easily captured by him. Not long after, suddenly, Master Spectral opened his eyes. Boom! His eyes suddenly shone like stars and a mental storm suddenly erupted. Layers of ripples appeared in the space and the surrounding immortals all retreated. Even someone as strong as the Son of Heaven took half a step back. He blurted out, Master Spectral, your mental power is indeed able to seize the fortune of heaven and earth. It's extraordinary. Haha, that's enough. Master Spectral suddenly opened his mouth and burst out laughing. Master Spectral, how is it? Son of Heaven's eyes were burning as he approached Master Spectral. The rest of the immortals also couldn't help but move closer. I have extracted the essence of Xiao Han's soul. Master Spectral smiled confidently. Then a faint mental frequency imprint gushed out from his left eye. This is Xiao Han's original soul aura before he disguised himself. This is also his soul essence. In the next moment, this soul frequency imprint distorted a few times and turned into a round sphere. On the surface of this sphere there were some complicated engravings. The outside was filled with fog. Oh, this is the essence of Xiaohan's soul? Son of Heaven was slightly puzzled. Xiaohan is indeed powerful. A little mortal has actually cultivated to the realm of mental power solidification. This is almost impossible for a mortal to do. The muscles at the corner of Master Spectral's eyes twitched. His eyes twitched crazily a few times. It seems like Xiaohan has a great opportunity. There must be a great opportunity on him. Maybe there is some supreme mental power cultivation technique that fell into the mortal world and coincidentally fell into Xiaohan's hands. After I capture Xiaohan, I will interrogate him myself. Pausing for a moment, Master Spectral Spirit smiled complacently. Son of Heaven, pay attention. The essence of Xiaohan's soul is a sphere that is indestructible. This meant that he had already cultivated to the level of solidifying his mental power. There was a solidified mental power planet in his sea of consciousness. On this solid mental power planet, the mysterious patterns he drew were the essence of Xiaohan's soul. Son of Heaven, these mysterious patterns are exclusive to Xiaohan. Take a closer look and memorize them. Oh. The spirit runes on the surface of the sphere? Heaven Emperor used his immortal sense to scan it and memorize the complex runes and symbols. Afterwards, Child Spectral opened his right eye and another strand of soul fluctuation shot out. After being distorted, this strand of soul fluctuation became extremely complicated and strange. This was a triangle. On the surface of the triangle there were some spirit patterns. However, inside the triangle there was a spherical object. On the surface of the spherical object, there was a pattern that had the same frequency as the first soul fluctuation imprint. I understand now. Heaven Emperor said sternly. The second soul fluctuation imprint was born after Xiaohan's disguise. On the surface, it looks like a triangle and the pattern on the surface is completely different from the pattern on the surface of the spherical object. However, inside the triangle, I understand now. This is that Xiaohan's disguise. Indeed, Son of Heaven, your soul and mental power are weaker than Xiaohan. Therefore you can't see through his disguise. But now I have analyzed the essence of Xiaohan's soul. Now it's time to reel in the net. Master Spectral Spirit suddenly stood up with his hands behind his back. The wind blew and his sleeves fluttered. My celestial consciousness has already covered the entire northern region. Now I'm going to read the soul essence of all living beings in the northern region. The soul essence of Xiaohan. Son of Heaven, you have all memorized it. Now let's find Xiaohan. Okay. Heaven Emperor was excited. This time Xiaohan won't be able to escape. The hundreds of immortals nodded their heads. The next moment, swoosh, 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 swoosh. The entire northern region was filled with all kinds of spirit runes. These were the spirit runes of all living beings in the northern region. Everyone's mental secret pattern was unique, just like a fingerprint on the palm. With Master Spectral Spirit and Son of Heaven as the leader, the hundreds of immortals present released their immortal sense without restraint and directly swept through the spirit runes of all living beings in the northern region. In the private room of the hotel where Jiao Lanzi, Wu Li and the others were. Not good. Brother Jiao Lanzi, I have a feeling that someone is peeping on me. Even my soul is being seen through and all my secrets are exposed. This feeling is making my hair stand on end. Wu Li said nervously. It's not an illusion. Jiao Lanzi said with certainty. It's Master Spectral Spirit who is using a special spirit technique to read the essence of our souls. He has already started to search for Brother Xiao. Jiao Lanzi waved his hand and an immortal chi shield appeared, covering the entire private room and blocking Master Spectral Spirit's prying. With this, Wu Li, Xiao Mingqiu and the others finally recovered. I believe that Brother Xiao has also sensed it. I wonder how Brother Xiao will deal with it. Jiao Lanzi stood up. Once Brother Xiao's whereabouts are exposed, Son of Heaven and Master Spectral Spirit will want to capture Brother Xiao. I have no choice but to take action. At this moment, Xiaohan was also sitting in the back garden of the inn. Suddenly, the solid spirit power star in his sea of consciousness began to squirm. It was trembling and trembling. Moreover, the spirit patterns on the surface of the solid spirit power star suddenly became hot, as if they were being extracted and read by an inexplicable power. The essence of my soul has been seen through. Xiaohan was proficient in soul spirit power and naturally knew what was going on. Amazing, this move is really amazing. Xiaohan could not help but nod repeatedly. The essence of each person's soul is unique. Although I can distort soul fluctuations, I can't control them. Although I can distort the soul fluctuations, I can disguise a different soul aura, but the essence will not change. Right now, the essence of my soul seems to have been seen through. That's right. It must be the immortal that Son of Heaven invited who has reached the solidification stage. He used a special spirit technique. He is searching for me. Buzz, 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 on the surface of Xiao Han's solid spirit power star, those only belonged to him. The patterns and patterns that were like life imprints became hotter and hotter, trembling incessantly. Finally, in the depths of Xiao Han's soul, there was a feeling of being watched. A terrifying feeling as if he had been seen through. I've finally been discovered by them. They have seen through my disguise. Xiao Han was slightly stunned for a moment. Then, the corner of his mouth pulled up into a faint smile and quickly calmed down. On the contrary, Xiao Han's heart gave birth to a playful feeling. In the sky of the northern region, trillions of spirit patterns were rising into the air. Hundreds of immortals. Their immortal senses spread out like a tide and quickly read these patterns. Finally, found it? Master Spectre roared sternly. Then, his immortal senses. It directly lit up a spirit pattern that was rising from a certain area on the ground. Son of Heaven and the other immortals also focused their immortal senses over. Indeed. This pattern is exactly the same as the essence pattern of Xiao Han's soul. Found it? I really found it. Son of Heaven also let out a roar as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. Master Spectre, it's all thanks to you this time. Ah. The strange spirit technique is really magical. It made Xiao Han unable to hide. Umph. On Master Spectre's face, an arrogant and conceited expression appeared. Brother Son of Heaven, I've said it before. Find Xiao Han within 2 hours. How about it? It's not even 2 hours yet. I've said it before. As long as I can see through the essence of a person's soul, no matter how he disguises himself, he can't escape my eyes. Then, capture him. Capture him directly. Son of Heaven's eyes once again released resentment and the joy of revenge. After capturing Xiao Han, although we can't kill him directly, we can torture him to our heart's content. Humiliation. This person must be beaten up and ravaged. Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi have both fallen in his hands. Moreover, his attitude in front of me is extremely arrogant. I'm going to directly break all the bones in his body and shatter his meridians to cripple him first. Brother Son of Heaven. At this time, an immortal standing behind Son of Heaven came up and flattered. Brother Son of Heaven, that Xiao Han's mental strength is very strong. Why don't we capture him and shatter his mental strength first, turning him into an idiot? Anyway, as long as he doesn't die, the key to enter the second floor of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure will open the transportation passage as scheduled. Good. Good. Son of Heaven smiled. That's not bad. Just as Son of Heaven, Master Spectre, and the others were about to lock onto Xiao Han's position and capture him. All of a sudden, the imprint of Xiao Han's soul essence pattern suddenly disappeared. From all directions, the soul essence patterns of other living beings squeezed over, causing the immortal senses of Son of Heaven and the other immortals to lock onto nothing. What's going on? How did it suddenly disappear without a trace? How is this possible? Master Spectre exclaimed in surprise. Xiao Han leisurely left the inn where he was staying. He strolled in the bustling city and walked out of the city. In his sea of consciousness, the burning sensation of the solid mental strength planet had already dissipated. At this time, Xiao Han had already changed his appearance. He had used the reincarnation technique and disguised himself again. With a shake of his body, he had turned into a middle-aged uncle. His temperament had also changed from that of a weak scholar to that of a street slang. If Xiao Han didn't evolve his left arm into the demon god's palm, if he didn't transform the thousands of demonic techniques into something magical, and if he only relied on distorting soul waves to disguise himself, he would have indeed been captured by Master Ghost and Emperor Firmament. However, when Xiao Han realized that the essence of his soul was locked onto, he immediately activated the reincarnation technique, to the extreme. This way the temperament of his soul changed once again. Although the essence of his soul didn't change, the reincarnation technique, that was cast with 40 demonic dragons' demonic strength was no longer something that Master Spectre could see through. Your mental strength is indeed powerful, but it's not as powerful as my reincarnation technique. Xiao Han looked at the distant sky where Master Spectral Spirit, Heaven Emperor, and the other immortals were. His lips curled into a mocking smile. Impossible. Why did it suddenly disappear? Finally, Master Spectre became flustered and exasperated. He continuously released his immortal senses to scan the area, but he couldn't find Xiao Han's soul essence pattern anymore. He didn't run away. Why did his soul essence pattern disappear? Why is this happening? Master Spectre roared continuously. His forehead and face were covered in sweat. At this moment, pooh! A mouthful of blood spurted out from Master Spectre's mouth. Just now, when he released his immortal senses without holding back in an attempt to find Xiao Han, he unknowingly overdrafted his mental strength, causing a sharp pain in his brain and causing him to spurt out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 604. At this moment, Master Spectre, who was originally very confident, suffered a setback. He had already found the essence of Xiao Han's soul and thought that he could capture it easily. However, an extremely strange thing happened. The essence of Xiao Han's soul suddenly disappeared and was annihilated. What's going on? It hit again? Master Spectre's face was slightly pale. He looked anxious and his facial features were distorted. Watermark advertisement test. One should know that Master Spectre was extremely confident. Especially after his mental strength solidified, his specialty in tracking and investigation was displayed to the fullest. Heavenly sight and earthly hearing, a strange mental technique. Even in the immortal world, as long as an immortal was targeted by Master Spectre, it was unlikely that they could escape his surveillance. Now that he had arrived in the mortal world, he had actually lost a mortal. This caused Master Spectre's pride to be mercilessly trampled. The hundreds of immortals behind him looked at Master Spectre anxiously, which made him even more annoyed and exasperated. His mental strength is only on par with mine. How could he disappear from my surveillance for no reason? There must be a problem somewhere. Xiao Han, do you think you can escape? Spectral Child took out a bottle of potion to recover his mental strength from his storage ring. He tilted his head back and drank it. His mental strength that he had inadvertently overdrawn was rapidly replenished. His pale face regained its rosy color, and he regained the confidence to rule over the world. Brother Spectre, since Xiao Han is still in the northern region and hasn't escaped, why don't you rest for a while and continue searching? Master Firmament said. Catching a turtle in a jar. The spatial barrier of the northern region has been sealed by our immortal senses. No one can effectively teleport. It's impossible for Xiao Han to escape in a short period of time. It's fine. Master Spectre waved his hand. Just now I was probably careless. Master Firmament, I will search for the essence of Xiao Han's soul again. Wait for the good news. Master Firmament paused for a moment and then nodded. Forget it, Master Spectre. You can continue. Boom. Suddenly, inside Master Spectre's sea of consciousness, a layer of mental halo shot out. It was pure and brilliant. It had a great intent realm that could shine through the ages. Master Firmament and the other immortals. After seeing this spiritual halo, they couldn't help but gasp in admiration. They all believed that under this all-encompassing spiritual halo, no one would be able to hide. They would definitely be exposed down to the tiniest detail. With the support of his powerful mental energy, Ghost Child's eyes shone brightly. All of them shot out bright beams of light that shone down, lighting up almost the entire north region. There were so many of them. Tens of trillions of soul essence patterns rose up and were recognized by Child Ghost. Let's search together. Emperor Heaven ordered the immortals under his command. Yes. The immortals released their immortal senses again. Every living being, be it an immortal or a mortal, had a different soul essence pattern imprint. Now, it was a bit troublesome for the immortals to find the one that belonged to Xiao Han among the trillions of soul essences. Before long, some immortals with weaker psychic power felt their heads swell and their eyes blur. Looking at the dense array of soul essence patterns, their vision blurred. They hurriedly retracted their immortal senses and closed their eyes to rest, recovering their energy. Master Spectre's mental energy had reached the solidified stage and was extremely powerful. At this moment, his eyes narrowed and he carefully searched. However, his expression became more and more stiff. How is this possible? It's like a stone sinking into the ocean. Xiao Han, what kind of trick are you playing? It's impossible for it to disappear just like that. Even if he died, the soul essence wouldn't disappear immediately. Could it be that he has a magic treasure that can completely hide the soul essence? That's impossible. Even in the immortal world, magic treasures that can completely hide the soul essence are extremely precious. Ordinary immortals and even immortal emperors wouldn't be able to have such a magic treasure. Xiao Han is just a mortal, it's even more impossible for him to have one. Time passed bit by bit. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours? Master Yu Ling had declared that he would find Xiao Han within 2 hours. But now, several hours had already passed, yet he had yet to find anything. It was truly a great mockery. In the private room of the restaurant where Jiao Lanzi and Wu Li were. At this moment Wu Li, Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, and Fang Ling were all sitting on pins and needles. One by one they stood up and kept pacing in the private room. Even Jiao Lanzi was leaning against the window looking out. Brother Jialan, the situation that Xiao Han is in now is extremely bad. The immortal who came to our plane for the first time has a mental energy soul power that is not inferior to Xiao Han. I'm afraid he can really find Xiao Han's whereabouts. Brother Jialan, please help Xiao Han. You must not let Xiao Han fall into their hands. It was Heaven's Son who violated the rules first and broke the bet. Then Brother Jialan, you can also help. Why do you still care about morality and honor when facing this group of despicable and shameless fellows? Wu Li said anxiously. Suddenly Jiao Lanzi's tense and stiff face gradually relaxed. Moreover, there was a trace of a strange feeling. Jiao Lanzi slowly turned around and said with bright eyes. Brother Xiao is really a god. Why does Brother Jialan say that? Ah. Jiao Lanzi suddenly laughed. Ghost Child, Heaven's Son, and the others are still helpless and can't find Brother Xiao. Ghost Child is known as the #1 in mental energy among the younger generation in the immortal world, but he also suffered in the hands of Brother Xiao. Ah. Another city in the northern region. In the hall of the restaurant. At this moment, Tao Tai, Black and White, Su Huizi and the other immortals had already contacted dozens of immortals. These immortals were extremely disdainful of Heaven's Son's behavior and were willing to be on good terms with Xiao Han. Moreover, these immortals at this moment seemed to be extremely excited. Heaven's Son is too much. He actually told the space coordinates of this plane to Ghost Child and the others. Ghost Child, I remember very clearly that when the distribution was first made, he should have descended to another plane and not this plane. Other than Ghost Child, there are many immortals from other planes. Could it be that they all want to snatch the quota from Xiao Han? How dare you? Heaven's Son is too arrogant. He even wants to dominate the second floor of immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure? This time, we are even more determined to stand on the side of Xiao Han and Brother Jialan. Heaven's Son is too much. Xiao Han had already walked out of a city leisurely. With a little trick, he hid from the soldiers guarding the city and arrived at the suburbs. Then he sneaked into another city. During this period of time, whenever Xiao Han felt a burning sensation on the surface of the solid psychic power planet in his sea of consciousness, he would immediately activate the reincarnation incantation to change his soul aura. Therefore, no matter how hard Master Spectral Spirit tried, he couldn't find Xiao Han. To Ghost Child, Xiao Han was like a clay ox entering the sea. There was no news of him and he was completely annihilated among the masses. Heaven's Son, no matter how many tricks you have up your sleeves or how many reinforcements you have invited, don't even think of finding me. Xiao Han looked at the horizon and laughed disdainfully. This time I will definitely win the bet with the immortals. In the sky. 6 hours had already passed. The sky was already turning dark. Ghost Child drank 4 bottles of mental energy replenishing medicine in a row, but it was still of no use. He couldn't find Xiao Han. Not even the slightest trace. He didn't even discover it. Ghost Child's face was getting uglier and uglier. His facial features were almost distorted. Moreover, Ghost Child had been consuming his mental energy for a long time. At this moment, he saw the densely packed soul wave imprints that covered the sky. He was already feeling dizzy and his vision was blurred. At a glance, the entire north region was filled with soul essence imprints patterns. Ghost Child's vision was blurry and his head was about to explode. As for Heaven's Son and the other immortals, they stood behind Ghost Child in a daze. Their hearts sank to the bottom. Still can't find Xiao Han? I have already invited the friend who is most likely to find Xiao Han, but Heaven's Son's face was filled with bitterness. Finally, enough. I don't want to play anymore. Ghost Child flew into a rage and stood up abruptly. His eyes were filled with resentment and anger. Enough. I am a genius of the immortal world. I don't want to waste any more time with an insignificant mortal here. This is a boring game. Utterly boring. Finally, at this moment, Ghost Child lost the demeanor of an immortal. He was thoroughly enraged out of humiliation, flustered and exasperated. Heaven's Son. End this ridiculous and childish bet between you and Xiao Han. Ghost Child stared at Heaven's Son. Brother Ghost Child, what do you mean? Heaven's Son's eyes began to flicker with murderous intent. He seemed to be unable to restrain himself. Heaven's Son, you and I are both immortals. In the immortal world we also enjoy the reputation of being geniuses. This time, the exploration of the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure should be done by us immortals. Those mortals who have the quota to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure are just foils. It's a clown. An incomparably ridiculous nobody. He's worse than ants, pigs and dogs. Ghost Child almost roared. Heaven's Son, when I arrived at the mortal plane, those mortals who had the quota all knelt down and worshipped me. When I asked them to go east, they definitely wouldn't dare to go west. But when you descended, you were troubled by a mortal. And you even made such a childish bet with him. Kill? Ghost Child screamed. Isn't this Xiao Han in the North region? Isn't he hiding very well? Good. Kill all the mortals in the North region. I don't believe that Xiao Han won't come out. If he doesn't come out, we will kill him. Kill until the North region is filled with corpses. If he still doesn't come out after killing everyone in the North region, we will kill all the mortals in the East region, West region, South region, and Great Wilderness. Oh. Heaven's Son smiled coldly. Ghost Child, you and I are indeed good friends of many years. What you said is exactly what I want. Then that laughable bet would be nullified. Kill. Kill until Xiao Han comes out. Chapter 605. Heaven Emperor and Spectral Child finally broke their bet. Their murderous nature was triggered. They wanted to start a massacre in the North region to force Xiao Han out. Boom, boom, these two geniuses from the immortal world unleashed a terrifying aura. Their bodies were filled with immortal chi and their killing intent was overflowing. This, Big Brother Heaven Emperor, Big Brother Spectral Child, isn't this a bit inappropriate? However, there were a few immortals under Heaven Emperor's command who stood up immediately. Watermark advertisement test pacifying the Southern Sea and killing in the Southern Sea, causing the mortal world to be plunged into misery and suffering, destroying countries and cities. It is really going against the Heavenly Tao. Heavenly Tao? Talking about the Heavenly Tao to mortals? Spectral Child sneered. How childish. What is heaven? We are heaven. What is Tao? We are Tao. Before we descended, the sect didn't stipulate that we can't kill mortals. This was just an ordinary mortal plane. In the vast universe, who knew how many such planes there were? They were as numerous as the sands of the eternal universe. To our immortal world, the destruction of a plane like this is just a trivial matter. Don't you want to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao? Heaven Emperor scolded coldly. Moreover, this plane should be destroyed. Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi have fallen in this plane. Even if we slaughter all the living beings in this plane, it won't be able to make up for the loss of Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi. Right now we are punishing these mortals. Punishing them for their crimes. When we return to the immortal world, we won't be questioned. Even if Jia Lanzi, that sanctimonious guy, tries to stop us, we won't be caught by him. The death of Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi is an irrefutable fact. The mortals of this plane. They must pay for everything with their blood. Hearing this, the immortals who had objections were all speechless. They all tacitly agreed with Heaven Emperor and Spectral Child's killing plan. Brother Heaven Emperor. Now, it's up to you to declare to the ants of this plane. Make an announcement. Of course, if Xiao Han is willing to stand out himself, perhaps we can still give him a way out. Spectral Child smiled strangely. If we can force Xiao Han out. In that case, I can be lenient with the punishment and only kill a part of the living beings in the northern region to avenge Du Longzi and the Divine Sword Prince. Emperor Heaven's emotions had also calmed down and was no longer troubled by the fact that he could not find Xiao Han. After deciding to kill, Emperor Tsang became even calmer. Suddenly, Emperor Firmament opened his mouth and activated his immortal sense to transmit his voice. It enveloped the entire northern domain, so that the billions upon billions of living beings in the northern domain could hear his peerlessly majestic and supreme words. At the same time, a suffocating and immortal pressure covered the entire northern domain. None of the mortals dared to even breathe loudly. Insignificant mortals of the northern region. I am an immortal who descended from the immortal world. What was an immortal? Perhaps you mortals don't really understand. In that case, I can tell you that immortals are your so-called heavens. When an immortal is enraged, the plane will turn to ashes. Your plane has committed a heinous crime. There are two immortals who were framed and killed by the leader of your plane, Xiao Han. the fall of an immortal in a mortal plane is a matter that caused a great sensation in the immortal world. The wrath of the Heaven Duke. The immortal emperor's halberd finger. Therefore your plane must be punished. Severely punished. From tomorrow when the sun rises, I will first carry out the punishment in this northern region. All the people of the northern region will atone for their sins with death. Use your insignificant and insignificant lives to be buried together with the two fallen immortal talents. However, this is also a kind of honor for all of you. As soon as these words came out, the entire northern region fell into a dead silence. Then there was a wave of mournful cries, desperate whimpers, and trembling voices begging for the forgiveness of the heavens. Under the shroud of Emperor Heaven's aura, any mortal's heart was filled with despair and could not produce any emotions of resistance. There was only despair. When the sun rises, the blood sacrifice of the northern region. Billions upon billions of living beings will be annihilated. After a pause, Emperor Heaven spoke again. For us immortals, it is true that the lives of mortals are insignificant like ants, pigs, dogs, cows, and sheep. The rise and fall of your mortal country is only a small farce to us immortals. However, the heavens have the virtue of cherishing life. It is human nature that you do not want to die, but your life and death are not in your control. If you want to avoid death, there is only one way. Hand over Xiaohan. Hand over Xiaohan. You can save the lives of billions upon billions of living beings. Ah, Xiaohan. I know you are hiding among the people of the northern region. Indeed, your concealment is very cunning. Even I can't find you. However, this is just a boring and terrible game. Listen, I don't have time to play with you anymore. The bet between us is invalid now. If you don't appear before tomorrow's sun rises, then I will slaughter trillions of living beings in the northern region. Exterminate your country and your race. Xiaohan, don't you consider yourself the leader of this plane? Whether you will watch the living beings of your plane die and be annihilated, or stand out and save all living beings, it is all up to you. Ha! Xiaohan, if you don't appear, I will kill you until you do. Kill the northern region, slaughter the western region, crush the eastern region, sweep the great wilderness. Kill. Kill all the mortals of this plane. Xiaohan, your wife and children, your sect, your friends and family, all of them will die in front of you. Ah! I don't believe that you won't come out. Emperor Heaven let out an evil and crazy voice. The temperature of the entire northern region plummeted. Muffled thunder rumbled through the sky. The northern region was in chaos. It was a complete and utter mess. In the room where Jiao Lanzi and Wu Bai were. Preposterous. Emperor Heaven and Master Nether Spirit, this pair of scum of the immortal world, actually want to slaughter all living beings in the northern region to force Xiaohan out. They completely tore up the bet between them and Xiaohan. What's the difference between them and demons? Jiao Lanzi was completely enraged. A dignified immortal dares to threaten to slaughter all living beings in the northern region. How outrageous. Wu Bai, Xiao Mingqiu, and the others were also filled with righteous indignation. However, they were powerless to resist Emperor Heaven's atrocities. They could only look at Jiao Lanzi for help. Don't worry. I, Jiao Lanzi, am here. I won't let Emperor Heaven and Master Nether Spirit succeed. Jiao Lanzi stood tall and straight, his entire body surging with immortal qi. Awe-inspiring. At this moment, Xiaohan was also furious. Xiaohan never thought that Emperor Heaven and the other immortals would lose their last bit of grace. They were completely torn apart. This Emperor Heaven is really despicable to the extreme. He used unscrupulous means to invite helpers to deal with me. I didn't expect that he would actually want to slaughter the northern region now. Crazy killing intent. From the depths of Xiaohan's heart, it gushed out like a volcano. The terrifying sound of demonic power surging erupted from the demon monarch tattoo on his left arm. The 40 demon dragons roared and roared at the same time. It was a bloodthirsty madness. Kill all these immortals. Soon Xiaohan completely calmed down, and the corner of his mouth pulled up into an almost demonic sneer. Yes, before the sun rises tomorrow? Kill all the immortals. Emperor Heaven, you forced me to do this. On the palm of Xiaohan's left arm, thousands of demonic arts and forbidden techniques were stirring. Late at night. In the sky. Listen, before the sun rises tomorrow, if Xiaohan still hasn't appeared, then we'll attack together and slaughter the mortals of this plane. Emperor Heaven ordered the dozens of loyal immortals under his command. In order to get the quota to enter the second floor of the Judao Immortal Emperor's treasure, we must take some extreme measures. As for Master Nether Spirit, he was also giving orders to the nearly 100 immortals that he brought over. Before the sun rises, we'll also attack. Although killing ants is very boring, in order to force Xiaohan out, we can only reluctantly do it. At this moment, boom! A stream of light soared into the sky. Immortal qi and auspicious clouds rolled. Jialanzi's face was solemn and solemn. He slowly rose up and stared at Emperor Heaven, Master Nether Spirit, and the other immortals. Jialanzi? Emperor Heaven glanced at Jialanzi and teased. I didn't expect that even you couldn't sit still and arrived at the northern region? Ah. Brother Jialanzi, hello, hello. Master Nether Spirit looked at Jialanzi with a fake smile. Emperor Heaven, Master Nether Spirit, you too are scum of the immortal world. How dare you do evil in the mortal world? If you dare to kill mortals, you will be breaking the balance of all things in the world and breaking the laws of nature. You will definitely be severely punished. Jialanzi said sternly. Nonsense. Emperor Heaven's expression changed and said sinisterly. Jialanzi, put away that sanctimonious face of yours. Punishment from the immortal world? Why would the immortal world punish me, Emperor Heaven? Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi are both young talents of the immortal world. It is not impossible for them to become immortal emperors in the future. They actually died in this mortal world. If I destroy this plane now, not only will the immortal world not punish me, but they will also reward me. Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi, any one of them is worth more than 10, 100, or even 1,000 of such mortal worlds. Jialanzi, scram as far as you can. Master Nether Spirit sneered. Do you think that with your strength alone, you can stop me from joining forces with Emperor Heaven? If you say another word of nonsense, I will destroy you too. At this moment, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Dozens of immortal lights soared into the sky. Taotai, black and white, and dozens of other immortals also flew up and stood beside Jialanzi. Emperor Heaven, Master Nether Spirit, you two are too much. Taotai roared. Brother Jialanzi, let's fight side by side. Black and white said. Ha ha ha, you want to fight? Heaven laughed. Jialanzi, then let's fight. If we fight with all our strength, the northern region will be destroyed. The aftermath of our battle is enough to destroy all living things in the northern region. Then, the slaughter of the northern region will also have your credit. Ah, let's fight. Don't act rashly. Jialanzi also knew the serious consequences of a fight between the two sides. In an instant, the two sides were in a deadlock. However, at this moment, Brother Jialanzi, in Jialanzi's sea of consciousness, Xiaohan's soul transmission suddenly sounded. Brother Jialanzi, you don't have to worry about this matter anymore. Leave it to me, Brother Xiao. Jialanzi also used soul waves to transmit his voice to Xiaohan. This matter is urgent. Brother Xiao, are you prepared to stand up and sacrifice yourself in exchange for the safety of the northern region? Brother Jialanzi, I am not sacrificing myself. I want to kill Emperor Heaven and the others. Xiaohan's voice was extremely cold. I want to start a massacre. Chapter 606. Just as Jialanzi led Taotai Zi and the other immortals to confront Heaven's Son and Spectral Child, Xiaohan sent a soul message to Jialanzi. In fact, there were more than 200 immortals in Jialanzi's and Heaven's Son's camps. If they were to fight, the spatial crystal wall of this mortal plane would explode. All the mortals would die and this plane would be destroyed. Therefore, Xiaohan stepped forward to stop Jialanzi. Moreover, Xiaohan's killing intent had risen. He had decided to wipe out this group of despicable immortals with his own strength. He wanted them all to fall and be buried in this plane. He wanted to kill to his heart's content. Xiaohan did not want others to do it. As for Jialanzi, he suddenly heard Xiaohan's soul message. After confirming that Xiaohan was safe, he felt relieved. But soon he had an urgent discussion with Xiaohan. Brother Xiao, are we going to start a massacre? What do you mean? Brother Jialanzi, I really didn't expect that these scum of the immortal world are more than 100 times filthier than mortals. They want to massacre cities and destroy countries. Heaven's Son and the others deserve to die. Xiaohan's voice was cold. Indeed. Jialanzi did not deny it. After a pause, Jialanzi cautiously said, However, Brother Xiao, to kill Heaven's Son and the others, we must leave this plane and fight in the vast universe. If he were to engage in a fierce battle with them on this plane, the aftermath of the battle would instantly destroy this plane. At that time, not only will the people of the northern region die, but even the people of the southern, western and great wilderness will not survive. The situation will develop to a tragic point. Brother Jialanzi, I understand your concerns. But, This time Brother Jialanzi, Brother Taotai and the others don't get involved. All of you step down. I will kill Son of Heaven and the other evil and heartless immortals by myself. What? Jialanzi was shocked. How is this possible? Jialanzi was completely dumbfounded by Xiaohan's words. He was completely dumbfounded. One should know that Xiaohan was immortal. Although he had many fortuitous encounters and created the Starry Sky Dominator body and Thunder God Tyrant body, his physical body had reached 40 dragons of immortal strength. His physical attack and defense had both reached 40 dragons of celestial force. However, in a head-on confrontation, he would never be able to contend against Heaven Emperor with his dual elemental immortal physique. If Emperor Tsang were to reveal his trump card, Xiaohan would not even have the ability to protect himself, let alone defeat Emperor Tsang. Xiaohan had killed the Divine Sword Sun and Du Longzi by relying on the element of surprise. However, the death of these two immortals must have attracted the attention of the Son of Heaven. Although the Son of Heaven was arrogant, his thoughts were meticulous. It was impossible for him to make the same mistake as Xinjianzi and Du Longzi. Xiaohan wanted to kill Emperor Tsang. Absolutely impossible. Not to mention, in Son of Heaven's camp, there was also Phantom Spirit, who was almost on par with him and was good at spiritual power and had unpredictable attacking methods. Strictly speaking, even Jialanzi was more fearful of this spectral child. This was Jialanzi's assessment. If he had to fight to the death, he would definitely choose Heaven's Son instead of Master Spectre. As long as Xiaohan appeared, the two immortals, Son of Heaven and Son of Spectral Spirit, would definitely be able to capture Xiaohan without any suspense. Moreover, under Son of Heaven, there were dozens of loyal immortals. Master Spectre had also brought nearly 100 immortals. Such a huge force was not something a mortal like Xiaohan could contend against. To put it bluntly, even Jialanzi, who had countless trump cards and a strong foundation. It was impossible for one person to destroy the forces of Son of Heaven and Master Spectre. Brother Xiao, I know that you hate Heaven's Son and Nether Spirit to the bone. However, Brother Xiao, please don't be impulsive. In short, it's absolutely impossible for me to stand idly by and watch the innocent people of this plane be slaughtered. Jialanzi hurriedly consoled. Brother Jialanzi. Xiaohan smiled. Do you think that I, Xiaohan, have lost my mind from anger? No, Brother Jialanzi, you really shouldn't interfere in this matter anymore. If you interfere and a war breaks out, this plane will be destroyed and I... Xiaohan suddenly burst into laughter, causing Jialanzi to be stunned. Then, now that things have come to this, I will tell some secrets to Brother Jialanzi. Xiaohan said mysteriously. Secrets. Jialanzi was completely attracted by Xiaohan's words. What secrets? Brother Jialanzi, do you really think that I can rely on my own strength to hide from Son of Heaven's pursuit in these few months? Do you think that I can rely on my own strength to kill these nearly 200 immortals in front of me? No. I'm just a mortal. A mortal who had a little bit of a fortuitous encounter. I will not be arrogant to the point of wanting to kill a group of immortals. That is not arrogance, that is stupidity. I made a friend from the demon realm. Now, this friend from the demon realm has stayed by my side and has been taking care of me. However, he will soon be leaving this plane and returning to the demon realm. It is because of the help of this friend from the demon realm that I have the foundation to contend with Son of Heaven and the other immortals for several months. And now, Son of Heaven has threatened to destroy the people of this plane, which has also angered this friend from the demon realm. This friend from the demon realm has personally told me that before he leaves this plane and returns to the demon realm, he will destroy Son of Heaven and the other immortals. Xiaohan began to spout nonsense. If he wanted to make a move, he would definitely use demonic techniques. This would definitely attract Jialanzi's attention. If Jialanzi investigated the secret of the Demon Emperor's palm on Xiaohan's left arm and even discovered the secret of Xiaohan's heart, then the situation would be very dangerous for Xiaohan. Therefore, Xiaohan's fabricated friend from the demon realm was just enough to confuse Jialanzi. As expected, Jialanzi was immediately shocked by Xiaohan's words. What? Friend from the demon realm? This, Brother Xiao, this is too sudden. Jialanzi's face was completely filled with confusion. How can a great demon from the demon realm descend to a secular plane? The high-level demon clans of the demon realm are the same as us immortals. They cannot descend to the lower realm easily. Otherwise, the mortal world will be directly contaminated by their demonic aura and become Azura hell. Brother Jialanzi, I also do not know how this friend from the demon realm descended. But, Brother Jialanzi, you can rest assured that I have not conspired with the demon clans, nor have I harmed any innocent mortals. I have a clear conscience when I do things. Moreover, this friend from the demon realm, ever since he descended, he has always concealed his identity and has not sucked the brains of mortals. He told me that he belongs to a rather special branch in the demon realm. The demon clans of this branch do not easily suck the brains of humans. They seem to rely on some heavenly treasure or some exotic fruit to survive. It's a branch of the ancient demon clans. They are extremely mysterious and do not like the brains of humans. However, their demonic powers are extremely strong. They do not make a move, but once they do, they can slaughter immortals. So it's this faction of demon clans that descended. Befriending Brother Xiao. There's actually such a thing. Jialanzi was increasingly shocked. Xiao Han did not know whether to laugh or cry in his heart. He had casually fabricated a demon clan that did not eat brains, but there was actually such a demon clan in the upper realm. Yes, Brother Jialanzi, this friend from the demon realm. He once said that he seemed to belong to the ancient demon clan, a demon clan that has almost been lost. Yes, it's the ancient demon clan, that's right. Xiao Han seized the opportunity and said again. Brother Jialanzi, this matter has already reached this point. It's already a matter of life and death. Don't interfere. If you interfere, the war is inevitable. The war of immortals. The mortals will suffer. I admit that I am not strong enough and will not interfere. Leave it to my friend from the demon realm. After dealing with Heaven's Son and the others, my friend from the demon realm will leave this plane and secretly return to the demon realm. If that's the case. Jialanzi. His mind was completely in a mess. Since ancient times, the demon clans and demon clans were irreconcilable enemies. If Jialanzi allowed a demon clan to kill immortals, it was indeed somewhat unacceptable. Brother Jialanzi. Step down. Are you willing to watch all the common people of my plane be annihilated and watch the innocent mortals turn into ashes? Pedantic. Xiao Han's voice also became fierce and domineering. This plane cannot be destroyed. As for a fellow with the heart of a wolf like Heaven's Son, if he does not die today, he will be a great disaster in the future. Brother Jialanzi, even if you kill Heaven's Son and the other immortals today without destroying the plane, I'm afraid that when you return to the celestial realm, it will be hard to explain. Moreover, with my friend from the demon realm taking action, the life and death of Heaven's Son and the others will be clear of Brother Jialanzi's responsibility. Brother Jialanzi. Step down. Xiao Han urged his mental power, and in Jialanzi's sea of consciousness, he let out a furious voice. Jialanzi's mind raced as he looked down at the northern region. It was as if he could see the pitiful and despairing eyes of countless mortals. Forget it, I will stay out of this first. After the demon clan has dealt with Heaven's Son and Yulingzi, I will confront the demon clan head-on. After all, the demon clan is a different species. Even if it is a branch of the ancient demon clan, if they don't suck brains, they are still incompatible with us immortals. Of course, I trust Brother Xiao's character. It's impossible for Brother Xiao to be in cahoots with the demons. Brother Xiao, can your demon clan friend really deal with Heaven's Son and the others? Moreover, will the aftermath of the battle affect the life and death of this plane? Brother Jialanzi, you don't have to worry about this. The plane will not be affected in the slightest, and Heaven's Son and the others will definitely die. Forget it. Finally, Jialanzi waved his hand. Brother Taotai, let's step down. What? Brother Jialanzi, step down? Taotai Black and White Z and the other immortals were puzzled and shocked. Brother Jialanzi, are we going to stay out of this and watch Heaven's Son and Yulingzi torment all living beings? All of you step down? Jialanzi sighed. Everyone, if we fight head-on, this plane will also be destroyed. Forget it, step down. Brother Xiao has already discussed this matter with me. Brother Xiao will deal with it. This Jialanzi indeed had great prestige among the younger generation of the immortal world. Under his repeated requests, Taotai and the other righteous immortals did not say much. Therefore, Jialanzi led dozens of immortals and retreated one after another. Ha, Jialanzi, you trash. Heaven's Son roared sternly. I thought you would really dare to go against the law and stop me from dealing with these insignificant mortals. It seems that I have overestimated you. Get lost. Brother Heaven's Son, the sun is about to rise, and our slaughter is about to begin. Yulingzi looked at the dawn of the eastern sky, and the corner of his mouth pulled into a cold and sinister smile. Xiao Han, this time, let's see if you will come out or not. Chapter 607. The retreat of Jialanzi and the other immortals further fueled the arrogance of Son of Heaven, Master Yuling and the other immortals, making them even more unscrupulous. At this moment the eastern sky had already begun to brighten. The sun was about to rise and a new day was about to begin. In the past, such a moment would definitely represent hope and prosperity. But now, it represented withering, representing the arrival of the god of death. All living beings in the northern domain, regardless of whether they were noble or lowly, looked east, eyes filled with shock and despair. They were all praying that a new day would never come. Jialanzi and the other immortals had already retreated to the main peak of a certain mountain range in the northern region. Brother Jialan, you're saying that Brother Xiaohan will personally make an appearance. But Son of Heaven and Child Nether Spirit joining hands, their forces are enormous. Once Brother Xiao appears, it's the same as sending a lamb into the tiger's mouth. Tao Tai said with incomparable worry. Jialanzi said in a low voice, Everyone don't be rash. Something extraordinary might happen in a while. I hope that everyone can remain calm and not interfere for now. Something out of the ordinary? Tao Tai and the other immortals were stunned. And in short, let's wait and see first. Jialanzi said solemnly. Finally, the first ray of light in the morning had parted the darkness. He had arrived in the northern region. The entire north region was deathly silent. Every living being in the north region held their breaths and suffocated. In the sky, Xiaohan. Ah, what a joke. He was nothing but a coward. Ah. The Son of Heaven let out an incomparably sarcastic sneer. This laughter. It circled between the heavens and the earth. You keep saying that you're the master of the plane, that you're the leader. Ah. But you'd rather all of the northern divine region perish than show your face. What a joke. You mortals, ants, you still think of Xiaohan as your spiritual leader? In the secular world, countless temples were built to worship Xiaohan. But in the end, did Xiaohan save them? Ah. Alright, Brother Tsangtianzi, let's begin the slaughter. Spectral Child licked his lips as his deep eyes burned with a cold flame that resembled the ghostly flames of hell. Once they start killing and seeing blood, Xiaohan won't be able to keep his cool. Even if he didn't come out, there was a chance that he would expose himself. It allowed me to find the essence of his soul. Good, let's begin to destroy these mortals. Master Ashen Heaven nodded. In that case, Big Brother Heaven's Son, I'll make the first move. I'll destroy the strongest empire in the northern region, the Aurora Empire, a one-eyed celestial under Heaven's Son said with a sinister smile. I've cultivated a mysterious immortal technique. When I kill people, I can corrode their flesh, blood, internal organs and vitality, leaving only human skin. Now, I can turn hundreds of millions of people of the Aurora Empire into exquisite human skin. However, right at this moment, a scorching demonic chi surged into the skies from a certain part of the north region. Densely packed ancient demon characters blossomed. Decadent music, demonic music, began to envelop the entire north region, filling the heavens and earth with demonic chi and darkness. What? Demonic chi? There are demons. Heaven's Son's expression changed. Brother Heaven's Son, this demonic chi is very pure and powerful. It should be a great demon that descended from the demon world. Master Ghost roared immediately. I never thought that there would be a great demon hiding in the mortal world. Heaven's Son, Master Ghost, all of you immortals, today I will consign all of you to eternal damnation. The cold and evil voice seemed to descend from the sky, but it also seemed to come from all directions. At the next moment, in the sky of the north region, 999 rays of light pierced through the sky from the east, south, west and north. Auspicious aura descended and flowers rained down. A tall and slender man strolled over from a rainbow bridge. He was empty-handed, but he was incomparably majestic. His eyes were filled with the aura of a sovereign overlooking the world. This man was about 20 years old. He was extremely tall and his back was straight like a sword or a spear. His hair was tied into a bun with a wooden hairpin passing through it. The lines on his face were extremely demonic, giving off a sense of evil to the bones. His eyes were filled with a murderous and decisive aura. Especially deep in his eyes, there was a glow of the demon world, like two bottomless pits that wanted to devour people. This man was naturally Xiaohan's disguise by activating the reincarnation technique. In just one move he had shocked Heaven's Son, Master Ghost and the others. Xiaohan's demon monarch palm on his left arm pushed his demonic energy to the extreme. Not only did he use the reincarnation technique, but he also used a demonic technique that increased his aura. This caused the immortals to make a mistake in their evaluation. They almost thought that Xiaohan was a high-level demon that had descended from the demon world. You're a demon. In front of the aura deliberately created by Xiaohan, Heaven's Son suddenly became dispirited and his face turned slightly pale. Which demon monarch in the upper realm are you a subordinate of? How did you open the spatial passage and descend here? How dare you, demon? Shut up, Xiaohan said coldly. One more word and I'll eat you right away. A violent aura swept out like a tornado. It actually forced Heaven's Son to choke up, and he couldn't say a word anymore. Master Ghost took a step forward and asked in confusion. Demon. I don't think I've heard of someone like you in the upper realm. Forget it, now that the immortal world has something to do in the mortal world, it's not the time to slay demons. Hurry up and go back to the demon world. Otherwise, we'll join forces to slay the demon and you'll die without a burial place. Ha ha ha. Xiaohan let out a burst of laughter. His demonic voice was endless in all directions, making one's intestines tremble. What idiots! You're just a bunch of insignificant level 2 true immortals. How dare you roar in front of me? Ah! I'm the demon monarch who specializes in killing immortals. You scum, I'll kill you like slaughtering pigs and dogs. Xiaohan activated the 40 demonic dragon strength in his demon monarch palm. He also used a demonic technique that increased his aura. When he faced Heaven's Son and the other immortals, he actually felt like he had the power to kill them. This made Xiaohan very happy. The killing intent in his heart became stronger and stronger until it was uncontrollable. On the mountain where Jialanzi was. Hiss. A large group of immortals gasped one after another. Unbelievable. There's actually such a great demon. The black and white child said in horror. It's Brother Zhao's friend. This great demon is Brother Zhao's friend. Jialanzi said helplessly, I didn't expect Brother Xiao to befriend such a terrifying demon monarch. The demonic strength of this demon monarch is at least on par with a level 4 or level 5 true immortal in the immortal world. Xiaohan's reincarnation technique was truly miraculous. Until now, Jialanzi did not realize that this demon monarch was actually his younger brother Xiaohan in disguise. Brother Jialanzi, what should we do now? Help Heaven's Son and Phantom Child to fight against this great demon? The black and white child frowned. I don't think there's a need. Fish Seedling said. Heaven's Son and Phantom Child are not good people. They were not good people either, so why should he help them? They've been arrogant their whole lives. It's just the right time for them to suffer a little in the hands of this great demon. Jialanzi thought for a moment and said in a deep voice. Don't interfere for the time being. Let this great demon deal with Heaven's Son and the others. It's best to force Heaven's Son and the others to not dare to act rashly here or even scram back to the immortal world. After that, I'll communicate with Brother Xiao. We can either subdue the great demon directly or let Brother Xiao send this great demon back to the demon realm. After a pause, Jialanzi's eyes slightly narrowed. As for now, this great demon is in a state of peak demonic strength. If we rashly eliminate it with just our strength, I'm afraid we'll pay a terrible price. This is a great demon that can fight against a level 4 or level 5 true immortal. Moreover, since it could descend from the demon realm, it must have a secret treasure on it. Therefore, let's wait and see for now. In the sky, Heaven's Son, Phantom Child, and the other immortals also felt the strength of the great demon in front of them. A sense of powerlessness actually rose in their immortal hearts. Ha ha ha, are you all afraid? Xiaohan laughed fiercely. What a joke. Just a moment ago, you all threatened to slaughter all living beings in the northern region. But now you're cowering and trembling. Is this what immortals are like? Immortals who only know how to bully the weak and fear the strong? Ah! Xiaohan no longer hid or held back his demonic strength. It was released wantonly and freely, suppressing everything. Moreover, at this moment, the demon god's soul in his heart also transmitted a hearty thought. An irrepressible murderous intent spread out from the demon egg. The sun has risen. Xiaohan looked at the eastern sky and murmured. Then all of you shall die. Demon race. Heaven's Son screamed. Don't get carried away. Yes, judging from your demonic strength and aura, you're indeed powerful. However, this is a mortal plane. Once we start fighting, the space crystal wall of this plane will directly shatter. I'm afraid you'll be crushed into pieces in the turbulence of space. Moreover, although our realms are not as high as yours, we all carry magical treasures and immortal weapons bestowed by our sections. In this northern region there are hundreds of immortals. If we gang up on you, even if you're a great demon from the demon realm, you'll still die. Xiaohan smiled slightly. Seeing Xiao Han's slight hesitation, Heaven's Son also smiled and said, "Demon race, this is the human world. We immortals have to punish and kill mortals. Don't tell me you're going to stand up for these ants? Ah. Forget it, let's each take a step back. You can return to the demon realm and we'll torture and kill mortals. We have nothing to do with each other. However, if you want to taste the brains of mortals, we won't have any objections. You can do as you please." Ha 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 ha. Hearing this, Xiao Han was so anxious and furious that he finally released his terrifying murderous intent without concealing it. "All of you die. Die in this mortal plane." Boom! A demonic light flashed on Xiao Han's left arm. Suddenly the world spun and countless rays of demonic aura rushed out, causing the space to become illusory. The next moment the space stabilized. After a short while, Heaven's Son, Spectral Child, and the others regained their senses. When they released their immortal senses again, they found that they had actually arrived in an isolated city. What is this place? It seems that we've been teleported out of the northern region by some spatial laws? Heaven's Son frowned. At this moment, welcome immortals. Now that you've arrived in this Emperor's demon city, from now on, your life and death will be decided by this Emperor. A cold and bloodthirsty voice resounded above this isolated city. To be continued? Chapter 608. In order to kill Emperor Firmament, Phantom Spirit, and the other immortals, Xiao Han finally used an extremely powerful demon technique, Demon City. Xiao Han had obtained the demonic art, One Demon City, from an ultimate mutated demon emperor in the demon capital of this plane. Back then, when he participated in Yen Lang's birthday ceremony, Yen Lang created a trial, and one of the checkpoints was guarded by this ultimate variant demon emperor. Activating the Demon City, he trapped countless demon sovereigns, killing them and toying with them as he pleased. This was an extremely powerful demon technique. The ultimate variant demon emperor who possessed this demon technique was known as the strongest existence below the demon emperor in this plane. Of course, this demon technique was far from enough to deal with immortals. But now, Xiao Han's left arm had fused with the demon monarch palm and the demonic meridians, giving birth to 40 demonic dragons. In terms of demonic power, he was tens of thousands of times more powerful than the ultimate mutated demon emperor, who had mastered the One Demon City demonic art. Therefore, this demonic art had turned something rotten into something magical and had the divine power to trap immortals. One had to know that Xiao Han's current demonic power was boundless, equivalent to a level 4 or 5 perfected immortal in the immortal realm. Moreover, he was proficient in thousands of demon techniques and forbidden demon techniques. His left arm was also inlaid with many powerful demon techniques. However, among all the demonic arts that Xiao Han had mastered, it was difficult to find a terrifying immortal art that could instantly kill nearly 200 immortals like Heaven Emperor and Ghost Spirit. Moreover, Xiao Han's demonic power was definitely not enough to kill 100 immortals in one move. Moreover, once the battle started, he would unscrupulously use the demon techniques and forbidden techniques to fight against the immortal techniques and magic treasures of Emperor Firmament and the others. There was no doubt about it. This plane would definitely be destroyed. After pondering for a while, Xiao Han decided to use the Demon City demonic technique. The Demon City could first trap the immortals and then kill them one by one. Moreover, Demon City had some traces of the law of space, so the battle in the Demon City would not affect this plane. It would not hurt the innocent. In other words, Xiao Han could kill these immortals in a demon city without making a sound. In the void of the city, Xiao Han sat cross-legged. His face and eyes exuded the aura of a monarch, ruling over everything and determining life and death. This is my city, I'm in charge here. I'm in charge of the lives and deaths of immortals. This is the power of life and death. However, Xiao Han couldn't kill anyone right now. This was because after he used the Demon City secret skill, Xiao Han had expended too much of his demonic energy. If he killed the immortals now, the city would be destroyed by Heaven Emperor and the other immortals. He quietly recovered his demonic energy. Wait for an opportunity. Seize the opportunity. A one-hit kill. Demon City. Silence. At this moment, Heaven Emperor, Yu Ling, and the other immortals were pacing in the silent and uninhabited city. The faces of these immortals were filled with confusion. The city was very large, but there was no sign of life. The ancient mottled city walls, the dusty streets, and on both sides of the streets, there were empty restaurants, rouge shops, wineries, a vulgar and dilapidated brothel called Full Spring Courtyard, weapon shops, stables, and elixir shops that emitted the lingering fragrance of medicinal herbs, as the wind blew, tattered red lanterns flew all over the street. Going around the long street, one would also see some rotten bones scattered in the corner. Next to the bones were alms bowls, bamboo poles, and other tools used for begging. This place looks like a deserted city of the mortal world. Heaven Emperor was indeed an outstanding existence among the younger generation of the immortal world. He had the air of a general. After a brief moment of panic, he calmed down and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. It seems that the great demon used a spatial demonic technique to bring us away from the northern region. But it doesn't matter. We have more than 100 immortals here. Each of us is full of immortal energy and we have life-saving treasures given by our sections. It's more than enough to deal with a demon that's equivalent to a level 4 or level 5 true immortal. That's right, Brother Heaven's Son, you're right. Even if we're facing a level 5 or even level 6 true immortal with you and Brother Spectral Child here, we might not necessarily lose if we gang up on them, let alone a monster that's weaker than a level 6 true immortal. The few immortals who were loyal to Heaven's Son said disapprovingly after catching their breath. Wait. Suddenly Spectre's face turned cold. His eyes emitted a strange beam of mental energy that seemed to be able to penetrate the layers of space in the city. Everyone, this city isn't as simple as it looks. It looks like a deserted human city, but it's filled with demonic energy. This is a demon city. Moreover, this demon city seems to be located in a special spatial crevice. There are formations and restrictions everywhere, causing my mental force and immortal sense to be unable to cover the entire demon city. My mental force and immortal sense can only extend to an extremely small space. Moreover, the space of this city is filled with all kinds of illusory formations and mazes, distorting my mental force and immortal sense at all times. Oh! Heaven Emperor and the other immortals were slightly startled. Then they released their immortal sense as well. Hiss. Indeed, my immortal sense is almost blocked as well. I can only detect an area with a radius of tens of meters. The law of space in this city is extremely strange. It seems to be controlled by a mysterious force. This is bad. It seems like we've been trapped. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 immortals flew into the sky above the city, but I can't fly out. The sky above the city is densely packed with a sea of clouds. It's a hazy and boundless expanse. Big Brother Heaven's Son, Big Brother Spectre, we are indeed trapped. Brother Yuling, this should be an extremely powerful demonic technique, Emperor Tsang said as if he had realized something. Spectral Child sneered. It's fine. To use such a Yao art to trap us, it's impossible. It would definitely consume a huge amount of demonic aura. Now, let's search around the city. As long as we can find the core of the city and destroy it, the city will collapse on its own. Alright. Then, under the leadership of Sun Heaven and Child Spectre, nearly 200 immortals arrived. He started searching the demon city. High above the heavens in the unseen world, Xiaohan sat down cross-legged. He looked down at everything in the city. In this city, there are 81 illusory maze formations, 49 offensive formations, and 25 defensive formations. These formations have become extremely powerful because of the sudden increase in my demonic aura. They are far more powerful than the formations controlled by the city-toppling demon monarch. Moreover, activating these formations consumes demonic aura. I can deal with them. You want to find the flaws of the formations? I'll let you guys search slowly until my demonic aura recovers to a certain extent. I'm going to start hunting. Xiaohan's lips curled into a sneer. Outside a demon city, Jialanzi, Taotai, and many other immortals were also shocked and at a loss. Originally, they were all waiting for the battle to break out. Because the battle between this inexplicable great demon and immortals Firmament Emperor and the other immortals was already inevitable. In fact, Jialanzi had already arranged everything. When the battle broke out, he, Taotai, and the other immortals would immediately use their immortal techniques to control the aftermath of the battle so that it would not spread and harm the innocent civilians of the northern region. Jialanzi had also contacted the immortals who were wandering in the northern region's markets to watch the show. At this moment, there were at least 100 immortals around Jialanzi. All of them had nodded and were willing to use their immortal strength to control the aftermath of the battle. However, at this critical moment, the great demon, Heaven's Son, Spectre Child, and nearly 200 immortals suddenly disappeared. They disappeared without a trace. Without leaving a trace. What's going on? Jialanzi frowned, his face full of shock. Disappeared? All of a sudden, and there's absolutely no sign of teleportation. Taotai, Black and White, and the other immortals were also perplexed. Wait. Suddenly Jialanzi's eyes focused on the place where Heaven's Son and the other immortals were, and he swept his immortal consciousness. They didn't disappear. Heaven's Son, Spectre Child, and the others didn't disappear. They seemed to have been sealed in a special space. As soon as his voice fell, whoosh, Jialanzi turned into an immortal light and soared into the sky. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, Taodai Black and White and the other immortals followed closely behind. In the vast void, there was a tiny city floating in the air. It was about the size of a palm, overflowing with colorful lights and dense demon chi. Jialanzi's immortal consciousness condensed, and his eyes burst out a beam of light that shone through the ages, staring directly at the small demon city. Heaven's Son, Spectre Child, and the others are trapped inside this demon city. Jialanzi said solemnly. Terrifying, this demon technique is indeed extraordinary. A great demon is indeed a great demon. Powerful, too powerful. This. An immortal said with a worried expression. Big brother Jialanzi, why don't we enter this demon city and take a look? Although Heaven's Son and Spectre Child are not well behaved, we are all people of the immortal world. Now that they are trapped by a great demon. This doesn't seem right, Jialanzi said in a deep voice. We can't go in. This demon city is filled with a large number of mazes and illusions. Even my immortal consciousness was lost in them when it penetrated a little. It's very difficult for us to go in. Of course, it's also very difficult for Heaven's Son and the others to come out. In Demon City, Heaven's Son, Spectre Child, and the others wandered in the city for almost an hour, but they were still trapped on a long street. They walked back and forth but they still couldn't get out of the long street. Brother? Big brother Heaven's Son, big brother Spectre Child? It really is a maze. Several immortals said with slight apprehension. We walked back and forth but we still can't get out. It seems that we are trapped. Brother Spectre Child, what do you think? Heaven's Son also looked at Spectre Child with a slightly anxious expression. These mazes are not to be underestimated. It seems that in order to break the maze we must be stronger. Spectre Child took a deep breath. It's relatively difficult to find the array eye of the maze. Then, let's attack. Directly attack. Break this maze. To be continued. Chapter 609. Inside the Demon City, Heaven's Son, Spectral Child, and the other immortals were trapped here. Layers upon layers of mazes made it impossible for them to extricate themselves for a while. Ibdu, however, with Spectral Child's powerful mental strength, he also discovered the mystery of the Demon City. It's a maze. Spectral Child was extremely certain. This demon city was set up by an extremely powerful demonic technique. Although my mental strength and soul power have solidified, it's still not enough to see through the formation eye. Let's forcefully break this maze. Okay. Heaven's Son and the other immortals immediately agreed. The next moment, boom, 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 boom. Various immortal techniques, magical treasures, and immortal weapons bombarded the long street in a frenzy. The long street was distorted and space was in disorder. The street, which was originally hundreds of meters long, was constantly shortened. 80 meters, 50 meters, 30 meters. Space was fragmented and the sound of the formation collapsing was endless. Ah, what demonic technique. Let's join forces and directly blast it apart. Heaven's Son's tense mood finally relaxed. He directly grabbed with his right hand and the immortal chi formed tornadoes, destroying heaven and earth, almost shattering the street. Swoosh, 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 a mental storm burst out from Spectral Child's eyes, causing the space crystal wall to ripple and shatter like glass. Not long after, I finally found the formation eye. Spectral Child roared repeatedly. Sure enough, a small formation had appeared in a spatial crevice on the long street. At the core, there was a mass of demonic chi rising. That was the formation eye. Break? Spectral Child glared and a light beam condensed, blasting towards the mass of demonic chi. Puchi. The demonic chi was obliterated. Space changed. The immortals' vision blurred and then found that the area they were in was no longer the long street, but the foot of a lonely mountain. Where are we teleported to now? Heaven's Son was slightly stunned and then said, Brother Spectral Child, just now we broke a maze in this demon city, right? Yes, I've solved the maze. Spectral Spirit nodded his head with certainty. Then he looked into the distant horizon. However, if I'm not wrong, the number of mazes in this demon city has reached 81. We've cleared one labyrinth but there are still 80 of them left. We must clear all of them. Only by destroying all of them can we destroy the entire demon city. There are still 80 labyrinths. Heaven Emperor Tsang only paused for a moment before replying indifferently. It's no big deal. Earlier we joined forces to attack a single labyrinth. In the blink of an eye we destroyed it. 80 labyrinths? Ah. In about a few hours I will be able to break them all. Even if there were 800 or 8,000 mazes, it wouldn't be a problem for us. The immortals nodded in agreement. Yes, if there were only 1 or 2 immortals trapped in the city, it would take a long time to break through a maze. However, we have close to 200 people. Breaking through the maze is a piece of cake. Master Spectral nodded in agreement. It's no big deal. Let's continue. In the void. Yes, one of the 81 mazes has been broken through. These immortals are very efficient. Xiaohan did not seem nervous at all. He still looked as confident as ever. Apart from the mazes, there are also offensive and defensive formations in my demon city. However, I need to maintain the operation of the city and trap a large number of immortals. Indeed, I can't simply activate the offensive formations. Xiaohan smiled faintly. That's right, in the demon city, the amount of demonic energy required to activate the offensive formation was much more than the amount required to activate the maze. If these immortals break through the mazes one by one, the demon city will soon collapse. But, why would I give them such a chance? Ah. Immortals, the game has just begun. Xiaohan sneered. Demonic energy surged in his left demon emperor palm. Open all 80 mazes. Split up these immortals. Heaven Emperor Tsang and Master Spectral were about to order their subordinates to attack the next maze. However, at this moment, Shio, waves of demonic energy directly divided the demon city into 80 squares in the form of latitude and longitude lines. 80 mazes were operating at the same time. Nearly 200 immortals were directly divided into 80 parts. In the blink of an eye, Heaven Emperor Tsang found that there were only 5 immortals left beside him. He had lost contact with Master Spectral and the other immortals. Currently, the area where Heaven Emperor Tsang was located was a beautiful villa. Heaven Emperor Tsang and the 5 immortals were standing in a pavilion in the villa in a daze. Ah! Heaven Emperor Tsang's throat choked. His eyes widened and the other 5 immortals looked at each other. Brother Spectral. Heaven Emperor Tsang roared. Brother Spectral. Heaven Emperor Tsang's voice spread far and wide. It echoed in the empty mountain, but there was no response. An inexplicable panic surged into Heaven Emperor Tsang's heart. Brother Heaven's son, it seems like we've fallen into a maze again and we've lost contact with the other immortals. A white-robed immortal said nervously. Damn it. Son of Heaven cursed. Destroy this labyrinth. It was just a trick of the demon race. Shatter the maze. On the other hand, Spectre and the 4 immortals around her were at the foot of a volcano. The surroundings were silent, and only the crackling sound of lava could be heard from the mouth of the volcano. It's been split up. Child of Spectre paced around, emitting the sound of withered branches and withered leaves being crushed. He pushed his psychic energy to the limit and stretched it out. After a short while, he said to the 4 immortals beside him. We were separated into dozens of parts and trapped in different mazes. The only way was to destroy these mazes. Our men. Only then can we reunite. Big Brother Spectral Child, what do you mean? The 4 immortals had already lost their composure. When there were so many of them, they didn't care about this demon city at all. But now, the immortals were separated and felt isolated and helpless. This made these immortals feel a chill down their spines. Their hearts were uneasy. In addition, the environment around them was filled with demonic wind and Densine Qi. It was even more terrifying. Destroy this labyrinth. Child of Spectre was slightly annoyed. There's no other way now. We can only destroy the labyrinth. However, every time we destroy a labyrinth, there will be 2 groups of people converging. As long as everyone works together, that great demon wants to nibble away at our plan one by one. It won't be that easy to succeed. But with just the few of us, it won't be that easy to destroy the labyrinth. That's right. The first labyrinth was destroyed with nearly 200 immortals working together. Only then was it easy. But now, it was extremely difficult for a few immortals to work together. Don't talk nonsense. Child of Spectre glared, scaring the immortals so much that they didn't dare to say anything. Soon, Child of Spectre and the 4 immortals unleashed powerful immortal technique attacks and bombarded the labyrinth. Child of Spectre even took out an immortal saber and kept slashing. Everything was under Xiaohan's control. Xiaohan looked down at the ground. In his eyes, the 80-grid labyrinth formation had already separated all the immortals. Although the immortals were attacking the maze in an attempt to break through it, it wouldn't be easy for them to do so in a short amount of time. Xiao Han didn't consider using his demonic power to repair the labyrinth that was being destroyed by the immortals. Instead, he gathered his demonic power and locked onto one of the labyrinth formations with his mind. In one of the 80 labyrinth formations, the scene of this labyrinth was that of a dark valley. There were only 2 immortals in this labyrinth. At this moment, these 2 immortals unleashed their immortal technique attacks in a frenzy, trying to forcefully break through the labyrinth. Unfortunately, they were too weak. Even after using up a lot of immortal power, they still couldn't break through the labyrinth. Dumuzi. One of the immortals stopped his attack and said with a frown, "With just the 2 of us, I'm afraid it'll take more than a few hours to break through this labyrinth." The other short and fat immortal also stopped his attack and cursed in a low voice. "How unlucky. I didn't expect that the 2 of us would be trapped together by that great demon. A few hours? Don't even think about breaking through this labyrinth in a few hours. I hope Brother Heaven's son and child of Spectre can quickly break through the labyrinth and come to rescue us. The 2 of us probably won't be able to do anything." Outside Demon City, Jialanzi and the other immortals surrounded the small demon city with complicated expressions. On one hand, they were extremely disdainful of the actions of Heaven's son and child of Spectre. On the other hand, they were also conflicted when they saw a demon causing trouble in front of them. "Everyone, don't be too anxious." Jialanzi smiled. "Although Heaven's son, child of Spectre, and the others have fallen into this demon city, it'll be very difficult for that great demon to kill them. Yes, every immortal that descended here has a life-saving trump card given by the sect. Geniuses like Heaven's son and child of Spectre have even more powerful life-saving trump cards. It's almost impossible for them to die when nearly 200 immortals join forces." Black and White also smiled. "However, I do hope that the great demon can teach Heaven's son and the others a lesson. But now, it seems that the people of the northern region can be spared from being slaughtered." The kind-hearted Su Huizi's tightly furrowed brows finally relaxed. In Demon City, 80 labyrinths, inside the dark valley, the 2 immortals were still grumbling under their breaths. However, at this moment, boom! Shockingly, a burst of demonic fire burst out of the ground without warning and enveloped the 2 immortals. This time, the 2 immortals were simply unable to defend against it. Roar? Ah! The 2 immortals burst out with heart-wrenching screams. Immortal chi rose from their bodies and formed a protective shield. However, the power of the demonic flame was extremely terrifying. It directly burned the 2 immortals' immortal chi shield until it distorted and melted. Streaks of demonic flame entangled the 2 immortals like giant pythons. Densely packed cracks appeared on the immortal bodies of the 2 immortals. "I've used most of my demonic power to activate this offensive formation. 2 mere immortals are dead for sure." Xiao Han sneered. This is bitter. Miserable. Brother Heaven's son. Brother Spectre, come and save us." The 2 immortals' heart-wrenching screams echoed throughout the entire demon city. The other immortals could clearly hear the miserable screams and wails, as well as the terrifying sound of their immortal bodies melting and shattering. Outside Demon City. "Oh no. There are immortals screaming." Jialanzi's expression changed drastically. To be continued. Chapter 610. Xiao Han finally decided to kill this group of heartless immortals. He did not trap these immortals in Demon City just to teach them a lesson. If Xiao Han did not master powerful demonic energy this time, then all the beings in the northern region would inevitably perish. Emperor Tsang and the other scum of the immortal world were already challenging Xiao Han's bottom line. Therefore Xiao Han was determined to kill them. There was no other possibility. He wanted these nearly 200 immortals to be buried in Demon City. A mortal killing hundreds of immortals. If this matter was leaked, the immortal world would be shaken. However, Xiao Han had already found a scapegoat, the demon emperor who slaughtered immortals. He would use this fake identity to complete the massacre of these immortals. Nearly 200 immortals united. Indeed, even if they were trapped in Demon City, they would not be able to kill them. Instead, they would be able to destroy Demon City. However, according to Xiao Han's plan, these immortals were divided into 80 groups. Then they would be able to destroy them one by one. Everything is under control. Xiao Han stood high above in the void of Demon City. He looked down on everything and was the master of everything. The 2 immortals were suffering from the demonic fire. Their vitality was constantly weakening. Their immortal bodies were melting and peeling off. They did not even have the chance to use their Dharma treasures. It should be noted that the offensive formations in Yao City had been strengthened along with Xiao Han's demonic energy. As long as there was demonic energy in the offensive formations, it wouldn't be a problem for them to kill some low-level immortals. In order to activate this demonic fire immortal incineration formation, I have consumed a lot of demonic energy. Now, the demonic energy in my left demon emperor's palm is also weakening. I must recover my demonic energy as soon as possible so that I can continue killing these immortals. Recover demonic energy? Xiao Han's eyes flashed. Let's see if I can devour and refine the bodies of these two immortals. Then, I can use the items they carry to effectively replenish the left demon emperor's palm. At this moment, the two immortals were burning. His entire body crackled as he was burned. His cries for help grew weaker and weaker. Ah, help! Demon clan, kill me. Brother Emperor Tsang. Brother Phantom Child. Help. I don't want to die in this mortal world. I'm also an outstanding talent of the younger generation in the celestial world. In order to obtain Celestial Emperor Ju Dao's treasure, I went through a lot of hardships to descend to the mortal world. I thought that my future was bright. Alas, I'm going to die here with my immortal body reduced to dregs. So bitter. Help. The two immortals' heart-wrenching screams spread to every corner of the monster city. Every inch of the space was filled with the terrifying atmosphere of death and the fall of immortals. Roar! Demons! How dare you slaughter my immortals? Die! Die without a burial place. Heaven's Son was shocked and angry. He exerted all his strength wanting to destroy the maze that trapped him. However, Son of Heaven only attacked this maze with a few other immortals. Even if they could break it, it would take a few hours. Ah! That demon really dared to attack. It doesn't just want to trap us. Quickly think of a way to kill our way out. Hurry up and destroy this maze. Otherwise, we might become the next target of this great demon. Apart from Heaven's Son of Heaven, the other immortals were also roaring. They fell into a state of panic. Not long after, the cries of pain from the two immortals finally came to an end. The entire monster city fell into silence. They're dead. Their souls are scattered. They're dead in this monster city. Ruthless, truly ruthless. This great demon is too vicious. Master Yuling closed his eyes and his divine sense drifted. He seemed to be sensing something. At this moment, the demon fire had dissipated. The two immortals were already dead. Their immortal bodies were burned to the point of emitting green smoke. They couldn't be more dead. However, it was not that easy to burn an immortal's body. Although these two immortals were burned to death, their bodies still maintained a sparkling luster. They were extremely extraordinary. However, their bodies were cold and completely devoid of life. Boom! A giant demonic aura hand grabbed the two immortal corpses through the air and directly lifted them into the sky. Let's see if these two immortal corpses can make up for my lost demonic power. Xiao Han directly fused the two immortal corpses into his left demon, the Arch Palm. Rumbling refinement. Moreover, he opened the storage rings of the two immortals and took out all the treasures, immortal pills and weapons. He threw them into the left demon, the Arch Palm, and directly refined them. Inside Xiao Han's left demon, the Arch Palm, 40 demon dragons immediately wrapped around the immortal corpses and other items like hungry Taotai. They fiercely devoured and tore at them. In just a few breaths, the immortal corpses were torn into pieces, pieces of pure energy, and then devoured. Refinement. At this moment, the aura of Xiao Han's withered left demon, the Arch Palm, was rising steadily. The lost demonic power was being replenished bit by bit. Ah! Xiao Han let out a carefree laugh. This laughter also spread to every corner of Monster City. When the immortals heard it, they only felt extremely cold, evil, and terrifying. Outside Monster City, they're dead. Jia Lanzi did his best to investigate what happened inside Monster City. At this moment, a trace of sadness flashed across his eyes. Two immortals have fallen. So fast they were directly tortured to death. It seems like this great demon wants to kill them one by one, including Heaven's Son and the other immortals trapped in Monster City. Is too vicious. It's the method of a great demon from the immortal world. What should we do now? Taotai and the other immortals hurriedly asked. Find a way to kill our way into Monster City? Jia Lanzi said solemnly. Inside Monster City, the death of two immortals caused the remaining immortals to use all their strength to attack the maze, wanting to break it as soon as possible. Most of the immortals had already taken out the life-saving magical treasures given to them by their sects. Some of the immortals took out their life-saving magical treasures, which were heavy weapons such as big axes and immortal hammers. They were extremely powerful. Some of the immortals took out their life-saving magical treasures, which were offensive immortal talismans. The immortal talismans burned and activated some immortal formations. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning blasted out. Heaven's Son and Ghost Child. They had also taken out their own magical treasures. The magical treasure of Heaven's Son was a giant bronze man that was 10 feet tall. The bronze man's body was engraved with arrays. This bronze man seemed to be a giant spirit god that split the heavens and earth in ancient times. Every move it made was filled with terrifying energy that could shatter planes and create planets. As for Ghost Child's magical treasure, it was a black umbrella. As soon as the umbrella opened, billions of gods and demons erupted. They prayed together and the power of nirvanic extermination erupted. Some of the mazes had already begun to loosen. It was about to be broken. These immortals are starting to go all out. Ha. Immortals going all out, it's very interesting. Xiao Han watched everything that was happening in Monster City with great interest. The immortals were going all out, showing all sorts of ugly expressions. Each and every one of them had expressions on their faces. They were filled with anxiety, horror, and even collapse. These expressions that should have appeared among the weak mortals actually appeared on the group of arrogant immortals one by one. This also made Xiao Han exclaim in satisfaction. This feeling was above everything else. The pleasure of controlling the fate of immortals was hard to describe. Moreover, by devouring and refining the corpses of the two immortals as well as the items they carried, he was able to summon the immortals. Xiao Han's demonic energy had finally recovered to its peak state. In fact, the space within the palm of the arch left-arm demonic beast was distorting and emitting ripples. It was a sign that the 41st demonic dragon was about to be created. It seems like absorbing the celestial corpses can not only replenish my lost demonic energy, it can also evolve the left monarch beast's palm. Ha. Xiao Han burst into laughter again. Then the left monarch beast's palm emitted a demonic glow and injected new demonic energy into every maze in the city. The maze that was already damaged and on the verge of exploding was now repaired. Puff. Master Dark Spirit stood proudly and opened the black umbrella. It was as if there were billions of demonic gods and living beings, and a terrifying destructive energy shot out in all directions. The maze that trapped Master Nether Spirit and the other immortals was on the verge of collapse. Big Brother Spectral Child. We're about to break out of this maze. The immortals beside him shouted excitedly. Let's work harder and the maze will naturally be broken. Master Nether Spirit's eyes glittered as he said coldly. It wants to rely on a demon city to trap nearly 200 of us immortals. That's an incredible feat, and it requires an enormous amount of demonic energy to support it. This greater demon is truly foolish. It's fine if it wants to trap us, but it wants to kill us as well. If that's the case, its demonic energy will be even more difficult to sustain. Insignificant tricks. Break out of this maze. I believe the other mazes will be broken out one after another. Once we break out of all the mazes, we can kill that demon directly. All its demonic energy is used to maintain this demon city. By then, I'd like to see how it's going to fight against us. By then we'll kill it like slaughtering a pig or a dog. After subduing a descending demon, it'll be a meritorious deed too. When we return to the celestial realm in the future, we'll be rewarded handsomely too. Master Nether Spirit let out wild laughter. However, the laughter stopped abruptly as if it was cut off. The maze that had been destroyed to the point of devastation was actually filled with demonic light and vibrant colors. The space crystal wall of the maze was repaired. What? Master Nether Spirit was horrified and cried out involuntarily. At the same time, Emperor Firmament and the other immortals exerted all their skills and even used their life-saving treasures. Just as they were about to break out of the maze, they didn't expect that every maze would be repaired in an instant. This caused the immortals' excitement to suddenly fall to the bottom of the valley. It was as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over their heads. All the immortals stopped attacking and looked at the maze that was gradually repaired in a daze. They were as silent as cicadas in winter. Useless, you know? Xiao Han's voice echoed in the demon city. Everything is futile. Struggling, screaming, roaring, it's all useless. Closing the door to beat the dogs. Do you know what closing the door to beat the dogs means? You're all dogs. Now, all of you die. As soon as his voice fell, boom, 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 boom. In a maze, a dense number of meteorites suddenly fell from above the heads of three immortals. Almost instantly, the three immortals' tendons and bones were crushed. Ah! The three immortals let out blood-curdling screams like pigs being slaughtered. This sound lingered in the entire demon city for a long time. Chapter 6:11. Under Xiaohan's control, demonic energy flowed endlessly into a maze and activated an offensive formation. Countless meteors fell from the sky, smashing into the three immortals and causing them to cry out in pain. These three immortals had used up a lot of their immortal chi in order to break through the maze. They even used their life-saving treasures. Therefore, when the meteorites fell from the sky, they did not have the time to put up any effective resistance and were hit. Ah! Puchi! 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 Screams and the sound of bones breaking rang out one after another. Demon City was silent. Heaven Emperor Yu Ling and all the immortals stood still like clay statues. Finally, the blood-curdling screams and cracking sounds that made one's teeth ache stopped. Another. 3 immortals have fallen. Heaven Emperor's face seemed to have aged a few decades in an instant. A gust of demonic wind blew past and he could not help but shiver. He looked at the 5 immortals beside him who looked like they were about to collapse. 5 immortals have fallen. Yes. Yes. Big brother Heaven Emperor. This is the 5th. Why is this happening? Heaven Emperor's eyes were slightly hollow. This is just a mortal plane and we're noble immortals. We should have been invincible in every endeavor, and we shouldn't have been bound by anything. But, why is it like this? Why are immortals falling one after another? Roar! Break the maze! Heaven Emperor screamed hysterically and took out several immortal talismans. With a touch of his immortal chi, these immortal talismans exploded with tens of thousands of lightning bolts and directly bombarded the maze's spatial crystal wall. These celestial thunder talismans were one of the most powerful life-saving trump cards in the hands of the Son of Heaven. Every celestial thunder talisman was a celestial. Once activated, a total of 10,000 lightning bolts would burst out at the same time. If one encountered a strong enemy, these 10,000 lightning bolts would strike the enemy one after another. One after another, the attacks landed on the enemy, enough to turn the enemy into dust. With the immortal thunder talismans, one could fight against a level 3 true immortal. These immortal thunder talismans were also the trump card that Heaven Emperor used to challenge Jialanzi. Now that the situation was critical, Heaven Emperor did not care anymore and directly used his trump card. Bang! 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 Thunder light exploded. Thunderclap quake. The entire labyrinth swayed wildly. The next moment, Hong, the labyrinth that trapped the Son of Heaven, was destroyed by his celestial thunder talismans. Electric arcs flashed. Amidst the smoke, Son of Heaven led the 5 immortals around him and met up with 4 immortals in another maze. As a result, the Son of Heaven was transferred from one maze to another. It was a labyrinth. It was a courtyard house. Ah! Brother Heaven's son. In the maze of the courtyard, the original 4 immortals persevered and attacked the maze with all their might. All of a sudden the space trembled. Heaven's Son and the 5 immortals were teleported over. Brother Heaven's Son, you have broken through the labyrinth. They have reunited with us. The 4 immortals were overjoyed. In fact, they felt like they were drowning people who had just grasped at straws. Led by Emperor Tsang, the 10 immortals gathered together. Brother Heaven's Son is indeed invincible. You can break through the labyrinth and reunite with us. The 4 immortals in the courtyard house maze began to flatter the Son of Heaven madly. Shut up. Son of Heaven said angrily. A bunch of trash. At this time, a pained expression appeared on Son of Heaven's face. Just now, I broke through the labyrinth. I used up a total of 3 celestial thunder talismans. Do you know the value of each celestial thunder talisman? Forget it. Now, with the strength of 10 of us, let's quickly break through this courtyard house maze. Every time we break through a maze, we can reunite with some of our people. Soon, under the leadership of Son of Heaven, the immortals once again used their ultimate immortal techniques and magical treasures to bombard the courtyard house maze. In the void, Xiaohan grabbed the corpses of the 3 immortals who were crushed to death by the meteorite demon array and threw them into the demon monarch left arm palm to be refined. The demonic energy that had been lost rose and was quickly replenished. Moreover, at this moment, Xiaohan had successfully created the 45th demonic dragon inside the demon monarch left arm palm. The demon monarch palm had evolved. The power of 45 demonic dragons. Not bad. If I continue to waste my time with these immortals, it will only make my demonic energy stronger and stronger. It will only benefit me. A faint smile flashed across the corner of Xiaohan's mouth. Of course, Xiao Han also saw Son of Heaven explode a maze and converge with the other immortals. However, Xiao Han was not anxious at all. Instead, his face revealed an expression of a cat toying with a mouse. Son of Heaven, you're really amazing. You actually destroyed a maze in the demon city by yourself. However, you relied on an extremely powerful magical treasure. Ah. I want to see how many of such magical treasures you have. When your magical treasures are exhausted, I'll kill you like a pig or a dog. In the maze where Phantom Child was. Golden gourd. Suddenly, Phantom Child took out a golden gourd the size of a palm. Swoosh, a white light burst out from the golden gourd. This white light was as brilliant as a pillar and as sharp as a sword chi, cutting through iron like mud. Boom. The white light completely penetrated the space crystal wall of the maze. The scene changed. Phantom Child met up with the 7 immortals in the next maze. There were 4 immortals following Phantom Child. In addition to the 7 immortals that met up now, the number of immortals in Phantom Child's group had reached 12. It was considered an extraordinary force. Big Brother Phantom Child. The 7 immortals rushed to Phantom Child's side. Damn it. I used up one of my life-saving magical treasures. Phantom Child's face was tense. The golden gourd was empty, so he directly put it into his storage ring. This golden gourd hid a level 4 true immortal sword chi with the strongest attack power, a sword immortal. I originally used it to save my life. Forget it, let's leave this place first. If we can kill that big demon, everything is worth it. After a pause, Phantom Child said with a sinister face. Yes. In order to break this demon city, we used up a lot of energy and also used many trump cards that should only be used in the second layer of Immortal Emperor Judao's treasure. However, that big demon's energy consumption is definitely not less than ours. Everyone, let's fight. Kill a path of blood, break through the maze and meet up with the other immortals. Child of Spectre encouraged. Outside Demon City. Oh no. Another 3 immortals have fallen. Jialanzi's face became uglier and uglier. In this way in Demon City, 5 immortals have fallen. Things had developed to this point and it had become serious. Immortals fell one after another. This was an extremely rare thing in the immortal world. Every one of these immortal world geniuses was the pride of the immortal world. Every one of them fell was a huge loss. Everyone, let's try to break this demon city from the outside. We can't let the immortals continue to fall to the mortal world. Although he despised Emperor Tsangtian and Phantom Child, Jialanzi still made a decision for the sake of the overall situation. They had to break the demon city from the outside and enter to save the immortals. Alright. Brother Jialanzi, let's do as you say, let's join forces. A group of immortals stepped forward. Boom, Jialanzi grabbed out. The immortal hand directly seized the demon city, but... Bang! Jialanzi was suddenly shaken away. Suddenly, a strange expression appeared on Jialanzi's face. Oh no! Breaking the immortal city from the outside is much more difficult than breaking it from the inside. Moreover, once the demon city is forcefully opened from the outside, Emperor Tsang and the others who are trapped inside are very likely to die. Inside Demon City, in a certain maze, there were only 2 immortals in this maze. These 2 immortals were weak and in a panic they constantly bombarded the maze. Moreover, their wealth was not as good as Emperor Tsangtian and Phantom Child. In a state of desperation and desperation, they used up all their life-saving trump cards. Crack, 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 the spatial crystal wall of the maze was shattering. Inside the crack, these 2 immortals opened up to the other immortals in the adjacent maze. Success, success, we succeeded. These 2 immortals at this moment seem to have been squeezed dry, their auras extremely weak. Let's go and meet up with the other immortals. However, at this moment, bang! In the maze, the space where the 2 immortals were suddenly exploded. Demonic energy exploded, and their immortal bodies were directly sucked into the vortex and instantly twisted into pieces. Crack, crack, crack. The maze crack that was blasted open by exhausting their life force was completely closed. These 2 immortals were only a step away from success. Boom, boom, boom. Xiao Han absorbed the fragments of the 2 immortals' corpses through the air and threw them into the Demon Emperor left arm palm and frantically refined them. At this point, Xiao Han had consecutively hunted down 7 immortals. The quality of the Demon Emperor left arm palm was also constantly transforming and improving. Currently, inside Xiao Han's Demon Emperor left arm palm, there were already 50 demonic dragons. 50 demonic dragon power. It was comparable to a level 5 true immortal. Heaven's Son and Spectral Child, the two leaders of the younger generation of immortals, each destroyed a maze and met up with the other immortals. At this moment, they had regained some of their confidence and used their treasures like they were worthless. They had to continue to work hard and continue to destroy the maze. However, there were constantly immortals dying. Before they died, they let out heart-wrenching screams like pigs being slaughtered. This caused their mood to be on the verge of going berserk. No, I don't want to die. I'm an immortal. Why would I die in a place like this? I can't accept this. Xiaohan hunted down the 8th immortal, the 9th immortal, and the 15th immortal. As Xiaohan's demonic energy grew stronger and stronger, there would be an immortal dying almost every 15 minutes. Moreover, when Heaven's Son and Spectral Child were about to destroy the maze, buzz, powerful demonic energy was injected into the devastated and almost broken maze. It was very well repaired and could be called perfect. This caused all the efforts of Heaven's Son and Spectral Child and all the treasures that they had consumed in exchange for hope to be instantly destroyed. Roar? Why is this happening? Why? Finally, Heaven's Son and Spectral Child's emotions completely collapsed. They burst out the same howling and barking in different mazes. Why is this happening? I'm a Heaven's favored one, a genius in the immortal world. Why am I trapped in this demon city? Hope. I can't see any hope. At the same time. The 16th immortal, the 17th immortal, the 28th immortal died one after another. I said that I want you dead, so I won't let you live. Xiaohan's cold and domineering voice echoed in the demon city. Life and death. Chapter 6:12. At this moment, Xiaohan's entire body was covered in demonic light. The demonic energy vortex on his left arm rippled like a galaxy. At this point, Xiaohan had killed 33 immortals one by one. All the immortal corpses, as well as the treasures and weapons carried by the immortals, became nourishment for the left arm of the demon god and were fully refined and absorbed. The left arm of the demon god seemed to have no limit to its evolution and continued to break through. After refining the immortal body fragments of Divine Sword Prince and Du Longzi, Xiaohan's demonic meridians merged and awakened the power of 40 demonic dragons. However, after refining more immortal corpses and Dharma treasure fragments, the speed of awakening the demonic dragons inside the left arm of the demon god slowed down. It seemed that the evolution speed of the demon god's palm slowed down as it progressed. It was just like cultivating true qi. The higher the realm, the slower the progress. Currently, there were 65 demonic dragons swimming inside Xiaohan's left arm of the demon god's palm. 65 demonic dragon power. This was equivalent to the immortal power of a level 6 perfected immortal in the celestial realm. It was terrifying. The powerful demonic energy allowed the demonic technique of one demon city to be further perfected. As a result, the number of mazes in the demon city had increased from 81 to 231. The number of offensive formations had increased to 108, and the number of defensive formations had also increased to 108. Some of the offensive and defensive formations and maze formations were several times stronger than before. In this way, it was as easy as flipping his palm for Xiaohan to control Son of Heaven and the others. Now, my left arm is filled with terrifying demonic energy that can easily kill immortals. Xiaohan casually grabbed with his left hand. The space peeled off, and the air solidified and compressed into an air bomb that could shatter a plane. It was as if he had the power to support the heavens. Immense confidence surged. All of this is thanks to those arrogant immortals. That's why I, Xiaohan, can improve to this level. On the other hand, Son of Heaven, Master Spectral, and the other immortals. At this point they were completely in despair. They had consumed too much immortal energy. They had even used their life-saving Dharma treasures, but every time they were about to destroy the maze would suddenly repair itself perfectly, causing all their efforts to be in vain. This psychological gap and helplessness had destroyed their psychological defenses one by one. Why is this happening? Prince Tsang knelt on the ground and looked up at the sky. I've already exhausted everything, but I'm still unable to clear the maze. Why is it like this? Spiritual Child was also dispirited and dejected. Those eyes that were like black holes and abysses were also dim and devoid of light. His psychic energy was almost completely drained. His mind went blank. He raised his hands and stared blankly at the sky above the demon city. Impossible. There was no reason for that. But how could such a demon have the demonic power to continuously repair the maze of the demon city? This is completely unreasonable. In fact, some of the immortals had already lost control of their emotions and were barking madly. They wailed incessantly. Demon, let us go. Let us go. We're willing to retreat, leave this secular plane and return to the immortal world. Demon, you're too powerful. We can't fight against you. Please let us go, don't kill us. Moreover, we're all prodigies from our respective sects in the immortal world. If you really kill us, the consequences will be very serious. The immortals were indeed on the verge of collapse. Under the situation of the great disparity between the powerful forces, even the immortals had completely collapsed. They wailed and begged for mercy. There were even some immortals with no backbone who begged humbly and extremely contemptuously. However, Xiaohan didn't show any mercy in the face of all this. When you made the decision to slaughter all the beings in the northern region, I didn't see you showing any mercy. Now I'm the knife and you're the meat on the chopping block. Why should I let you go? Die. All of you must die. This time I, Xiaohan, will not hold back when I kill the immortals. Boom, boom, boom. Within the demon city, the offensive formations were activated one after another. World-burning demonic fire. The extraterrestrial demon stone formation. The 10,000 demon immortal devouring formation. Every time an offensive formation was activated, it would take away the lives of several immortals. Puchi, 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 puchi. The sound of immortal bodies exploding rose and fell in the demon city. After his demon power skyrocketed, Xiaohan finally stopped dawdling and began a massacre, sweeping away everything, chopping melons and vegetables, killing immortals like stepping on ants. The howls of the immortals as they were on the verge of despair filled every inch of the demon city. No. Stop. Stop the massacre. Demon race. Calm down. Stop the massacre. Emperor Tsang's entire body trembled like a sieve. Spectral Child's eyes were also spitting blood. His mental power also sensed that immortals were falling one after another. Originally there were close to 200 immortals, but now there were only a few dozen left. And the number was still decreasing sharply. Outside the demon city. It's crazy. That great demon has gone mad. Jia Lanzi also let out a heart-wrenching howl. Is going on a killing spree. Hundreds of immortals have died. They've completely fallen. Not even their bones are left. Big brother Jia Lanzi, what should we do? What should we do now? Tao Tai and the other immortals were also panicking. There's no other way. We have no way to attack this demon city from the outside. Now, wait, I'll immediately send a message to Brother Xiaohan. Let Brother Xiaohan stop all of this. This is too terrifying. This one-sided massacre is tantamount to a disaster for us immortals. Jia Lanzi immediately held his breath and began to use his thoughts to send a message to Xiaohan. However, his immortal sense was like a clay ox entering the sea, there was no response. He was completely unable to sense Xiaohan's aura again. Inside the demon city, all the miserable howls and cries before death had completely stopped. Dead silence. Annihilated. Annihilated. In the entire demon city, there were only two immortals left, Spectral Child and Emperor Tsang. The immortals who followed them to the death were all annihilated. Shio, the space was distorted. Finally, the two immortals, Emperor Tsang and Spectral Child, gathered together. Brother. Brother Spectral Child. Emperor Tsang looked at Spectral Child in extreme horror and shivered. All dead. All dead. Only we're left. Spectral Child's spirited eyes became dull and rigid. He stared blankly at Heaven's Son. Heaven's Son. This time I'm dead because of you. I've already obtained the quota to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's treasure in another mundane plane. I can be safe. Motherf asterisk Ker. How dare you let me come to this plane? F asterisk CK. Motherf asterisk Ker. Spectral Child cursed. At this moment, a figure was approaching from afar. A thin, harmless young man with indifferent eyes. It was Xiaohan. At this moment, Xiaohan no longer disguised himself. He had returned to his original appearance and soul temperament. Xiaohan? This is you. Emperor Tsang looked at Xiaohan in horror. Spectral Child scanned with his immortal sense and said in horror. It really is you. Xiaohan, why did you appear in this demon city? Immortals, you've arrived at this moment. I can tell you a little secret. Xiaohan smiled strangely. In reality, there is no demon race emperor. Everything was done by me, Xiaohan. Ah, are you surprised? Cluck? Both Son of Heaven and Sun Spectre choked. All immortals. They were all killed by me, Xiaohan. Xiaohan smiled innocently. How is it? You didn't expect this, did you? Forget it. Everything will be fine once I get rid of the two of you. This plane will be peaceful again and I will be able to leave. Together with Brother Jialan, distribute the quota properly. Xiaohan, you. Son of Heaven's eyes suddenly widened, and he was about to explode. However, from Xiaohan's body, he felt an undefeatable aura, a terrifying aura that could easily crush him to death. Xiaohan, this is really unexpected. You actually have such a demon race divine ability. Forget it, forget it. Son of Heaven's eyes turned a few times. Xiaohan, our previous unhappiness was all a misunderstanding. How about this, let's write it off, how about it? Ha! Write it off? Xiaohan's gaze suddenly turned cold. From the beginning, you bullied the weak and shouted to kill me. Now that you can't beat me and can't kill me, you want to write it off? Ah! Dog. A dog. Is this the so-called immortal? In my opinion, he is no different from a beast. Xiaohan, you, Son of Heaven, was exasperated. Xiaohan, brother Xiao. I have no enmity with you. I shouldn't have come to this plane in the first place. We should mind our own business. I just listened to Heaven's Son and came to be your enemy. I was really muddle-headed. Brother Xiao, how about this? Let me out and I'll leave this plane immediately. How about that? Spectral Child said shamelessly. Ah! All of you go to hell. Xiaohan laughed wildly, and a violent murderous aura spread out. Kill. Son of Heaven. Join hands and fight with your life on the line. He is going to make his move. We must fight with our lives on the line. Sun Spectre sensed the subtle signs that Xiaohan was about to make his move. Suddenly, Sun Spectre's immortal body started to burn, and his cultivation realm was forcibly raised by one level, almost possessing the attack power of a level 3 true immortal. His right hand turned into an immortal sword and directly slashed towards Xiaohan. Son of Heaven also displayed his ultimate move, and at the cost of a drop in rank, he brazenly rushed towards Xiaohan. His eyes were spewing blood as he roared. Xiaohan, I will fight with you. It's useless. Suddenly, Xiaohan's left arm directly blasted out. Demonic light surged and covered the sky. From all directions there were demonic songs that soared to the sky. Xiaohan's body was wrapped in a violent demonic aura, standing upright in the same place, like an indestructible demon emperor, demon god. Bang! Xiaohan sent out a palm strike, directly smashing Son of Heaven and Sun Spectre into powder. Not even ashes were left. At this point, Son of Heaven and Sun Spectre, as well as the immortals under them, were all killed by Xiaohan. Not a single one was left. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.